What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frost Esports channel. I'm Catnator, that's Lion Toast. A lot of changes to the game this week, but one thing that didn't change is the Frostiverse Weekly. We're back with it. Lion, how we feeling?
I'm feeling super good. I've been watching a little bit of the pre-top 8 of this tournament, and I'm like super excited. There's some really cool teams with some really unique characters that weren't really too visible last patch, so this is going to be a super sick tournament, and I'm super excited to cast it.
No, absolutely. So many changes to the game. You mentioned the fact we've got some new characters to look at.
Yeah.
You just saw Raven in the last set, Lion. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling super good. I think Raven in twos is such a meta potential character. There's so much stuff that not even a lot of the current Ravens are doing that's theoretically possible. And seeing as the Ravens are gonna get so good at some point. I just know there's so many amazing players on this game that can just pick up a character and just innovate.
Yeah.
So seeing even a few weeks from now where Raven is, I'm really excited.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Lenore looks so powerful. The fact that you can rock juggle, I mean, there's so much potential.
There's so much.
And we got to get, of course, into movement too. The game feels so much faster. I wouldn't say it feels necessarily like beta, but it is very close.
Yeah.
Especially if you're running speed perks. Short hopping into the game now makes things feel a lot more possible, I'd say. And pretty clearly it's an indication too, with the fact that broadcast starting exactly at 7 tonight. It's the fact that bracket's running a lot faster today because games are going much faster.
Mm-hmm. The twos meta is so fast paced right now. There's a lot of kill power in a lot of the comps. The short hopping and fast falling allows for these aggressive approaches that you normally wouldn't see. That's possible. I'm sure we'll see it time and time again in our games where people are just able to engage with the opponent in ways that they definitely weren't able to before the short hopping changes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking for some super quick action tonight. Speaking of looking for things, Lion, any characters, any teams more specifically that you're looking at tonight in this bracket?
For me, I'm looking at I think some of the really cool teams that we've seen a lot in top 8s. I think Shiro and Poro are obviously going to be a really win contending team. Mott's and Brian, both of them kind of running this Wonder Woman Shaggy that we've seen. Still good after the the
still
patch.
Very good.
Still very good. Million and Otto and Big Johnson are running Garnet and Stripe. That's going to be a super cool team comp to see. Both characters in a pretty good spot after the last patch. I might just see what Falsey and Melly are running, because I haven't gotten to see one of their games yet. But Falsey is so good on so many characters, and Melly's Wonder Woman is renowned as being so good.
I like the fact I like the fact we see so many similar names still, even in new meta. It's always my biggest concern is when we get shifts in meta and we get big shifts in the game, if that's going to change the big teams that we see. But I guess to your point, players so quick to adapt that it doesn't really end up shifting the iceberg at all.
Yeah, absolutely. The top teams are so established, and a lot of what makes them good isn't their characters, but it's how they play around each other and how they understand the game. So you see that a lot in these tournament sets where even though the characters in a different spot than they were last patch, the players are still able to just adapt and make their characters just look so so good, even post nerfs and post buffs.
I like the fact that Shiro is a big player I'm looking at tonight. Obviously, I think the best Wonder Woman currently in the game, whether it's solos, whether it's duos. But the fact that all the cheese is kind of gone from her kit. The fact that jab would hit behind, Nair would hit very far behind, but the hitboxes feel a lot more together now. And with that being the case, the fact that Shiro's still so consistent without getting those extra inches, extra frames on some of these attacks is big to me.
Yeah, the jab changes for Wonder Woman and Shaggy have mattered this patch. The Shaggy one is not necessarily as much, but I have seen jab 2 into things miss sometimes, which really didn't happen a lot last patch. The Wonder Woman changes, obviously I think both Shaggy and Wonder Woman really benefit from short hopping. Wonder Woman Nair, Shaggy Nair, and both of their Sares are just so deadly, and now having an easier way to get access to those kind of counterbalances some of those hitboxes change that we saw. Where they're both still so dangerous. But yeah, I'm really excited. And even though we see a lot of Wonder Womans, we see a lot of Shaggies, there are some new characters in top 8s that we really haven't seen too much of. There are 2 different Jakes in top 8, I'm pretty sure. On loser side right now. There's greeted on the Gizmo. We got a Superman. We actually have a Raven in top 8 from Eris.
Right.
So there's so much character stuff that's going on right now. That's super cool to see. So even though like winner side is like the usual suspects, loser side has a lot of sleeper characters. And as we get into this game with Mots and Brian and Big Johnson and Malignanato, we're gonna get to see like these stripes, these Harleys that kind of rose a little bit in last patch on a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
Get put to the test in the current patch.
Dude, this Moss and Brian team has me so nervous. They're both so fast, and just to get even faster, it feels like they're actually just enabled. So I'm nervous here. I do think there's a lot of potential for the Garnet to space. We'll see what they do, but my money's on the red team right now.
I think they're a little bit more of a story team with a lot of like potential to win, but I'm really excited to see how Malignanato and Big Johnson do. Right now, though, they get off to like a pretty explosive start, Brian and Mots. They have around 70% on both of the other team members. They're trying to just overwhelm them with their pace.
That's a nasty jab combo early. Moss to set up the Sarah, and Brian just to do damage while they're stuck in the combo is so disgusting. That early stock's already gone.
Harley Sarah is just so good at locking your opponents in place, forcing ground bounces, and Brian gets the kill with the side special already. Mott's in burnout, but trying to be so aggressive, killing Melina early, but can't really get anything off stage there. But I mean, red team's at such a lead already this early in the game.
You gotta not get greedy with it. Brian really doing a lot on the approach, and they are not letting him have it, so they'll get one back at the very least. High percentage already for Magnet. Gotta be careful.
But like that early kill, that was at like 70% on Harley. That actually like makes it so possible. Big Johnson only at 9%. He can definitely just like keep his stock and be alive here. But it's really how fast can Mods live versus how fast can it's just like Mods versus Big Johnson in the living department. Bladen already losing a second stock.
Oh man.
Only a minute and a half into the game.
She's just so big, just stuck getting jabbed. And the Garnet already off stage. You see him locking in onto the dare from Brian enough to do it. Y'all, I told you the brackets move fast. This game done in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just such a fast pace from the first game. The side special from Big Johnson hitting Mods, but Brian capitalizing off that hit pause and making sure he can secure that kill on his teammate. Really well done from the red team. Like you were talking about, they kind of locked him in place and were just able to get so much damage early on. Normally, that's kind of a function of like a Stripe Garnet comp where like Stripe, if he locks you in place, or if Garnet locks you in place, either one of them can do so much damage. But we see that red team also really has that explosive damage increase potential.
Well, they're both such fast characters as well. It's kind of hard to get the lock in the first place. Like Chainsaw for Malignant going to be dang near impossible to hit. Anything that Garnet does is going to be slow. Like the projectile is going to have a really difficult time of finding anything. So Gauntlet hasn't been an option for them early. I'd like to see them try to give themselves a little bit more space on stage. Obviously, what you learn here in game one is that you really can't approach. So we'll see if they're able to capitalize here on mistakes instead.
Yeah, like they're just kind of trading projectiles. Box traded for Gauntlet, like Rage traded for Dynamite. Chainsaw landed there, trying to get any openings, but I mean it's just kind of neutral happening right now. But Brian Ian manages to get it down there at 30% on Big Johnson, and he dies so early. That's insane.
You thought the 30-second stock was fast. What about the 20-second?
What about the 20-second stock? Oh my gosh. I think Melina is just kind of losing stocks really fast. I think in order to win this set, they're going to have to make sure that he can live a little bit longer in some of these fights.
Okay, awkward neutral. Nothing really to make of it just yet as Johnson back off stage, and immediately I love how Mott and Brian work together to try to get the stripe low as well, really making sure they're doing their due diligence of taking damage from every stock.
Really good Stripe and Garnet kill. I mean, that was great from them, using both their kind of setup tools to engage with them, killing them both from afar, which is nice because you don't really want to be approaching these characters as Garnet and Stripe. You just kind of get out neutraled a lot of the time. Right here, you see Mott's doing, or Brian, you doing so much. He just double nair into Sarah into side special to get the kill at like 20%. I have never seen that before. That was amazing.
Oh man.
That was so sick.
Yeah, they're locked.
Even though it's a Shaggy kill at like 10%, that was so cool.
Oh, they're locked in. Very honest. You know, very good gameplay. Yo, one more game for the blue team to try to start to put the pieces together. Line, you know, I'm not trying to be a hater. It's not looking good.
I think it's possible. I think that if blue team tightens up their offense a little bit and Melina Otto just doesn't really die as early this game, I think it's so possible. Because first game was like relatively close, right? Second game not so much.
Yeah.
But it's definitely possible. Like there were times in the last 2 games where they just kind of miss like their team combos, and if they do what they're doing now, where they kind of just overwhelm their opponents and don't really miss these follow-ups, it's definitely a recipe where you can make these comebacks and you can potentially reverse 3-0 Brian and Mott's. But it's gonna be so hard. But wow, Melina Otto, great offense, securing those 2 kills in the start. I mean, this is the start. This is how you want to make that comeback. You need the lead early. You cannot be playing from behind against this comp.
They have this lead, but it's only so far. It has me nervous still. Pretty high percentages on both ends of things. Mott with the back, gonna get that one back. Isn't quite able to find the confetti from below, but Brian Yee to convert instead. And suddenly this game inching back to even.
Yeah. I don't really know how I feel about Brian getting the full stage rage kick, but I mean, if you hit it, it works, right? And already Mott's in burnout, but Brian Yee is kind of the one they have to kill. Melina really has to be focusing on living here. If I'm him, I'm just kind of sitting back. I'm trying to let Big Johnson just try and 1v2 and just like live as long as I can.
Brian Yee to charge rage, almost had the kick on the aerial, couldn't quite find it. Is somehow gonna get that one on guard, and now we're in trouble.
He has no options, and then he's
getting a hammer. No options, and a big hammer coming his way. That'll nail down what is winner's semis. It's a trip forward.
That might have been one of the fastest sets I think I've ever seen. That was utter dominance on the side of Mott's and Brian Yee. They were just so good at just capitalizing off of little mistakes, right? Like game 2, we saw with that like Nair Sair side special train, like he was just out of dodges and Brian Yee realized it and capitalized off it and killed him for it. And then that game, like they had like a 2-stock advantage and they just gave it up. They just kept on approaching, and against this comp, you just have to be more patient. You can't be getting caught out by like these rage side specials.
Yeah, like the fact that they link together for blue side, they play pretty clean, and it leads to that advantage as you mentioned. But it feels like once they get that advantage, they start feeling some momentum back in their way, and we lose that spacing. So yeah, patience is key here, which is really funny to say in a meta that's looking faster and faster. Is that patience really does pay off.
When the game is so fast paced, if your opponents are like kind of pulled into the tempo and they start approaching too much in this meta, you can really punish them for that. Yeah. A lot, like especially characters like Shaggy, funnily enough, Wonder Woman, like characters with super strong, like grounded options are really good at punishing a lot of these aggressive aerial like plays. So if you can kind of up the tempo, artificially like increase the pace, and then you can like pull back a little bit, it can be so good at just like creating openings for you to punish. And we kind of saw that from Brian Yee and Mott's, where like they kind of pulled the other team into their like play style, into like this really scrappy gameplay that Harley and Shaggy are both really good at winning, and then just punished them for it. That's how I see it.
We should move to the other winner semis game. Which will bring in a character you just mentioned, the Wonder Woman from Shiro, who is not a Wonder Woman who plays patient. So not quite sure the dialogue will come through. It's the rest of the squad as well. Porpo and then Falsey and Melly, a team we haven't seen play just yet. So interested in that one, but coming off a 2-0, should carry some momentum into that semis matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're probably going to see 2 Wonder Womans. Shira's on Wonder Woman this tourney, and I think so is Melly, unless Melly is picked up a new character. And then Falsey's kind of the question mark. I think Poro's most likely going to be on Shaggy. Yep, you see it here. But Falsey actually sticking with the Banana Guard. Banana Guard, after the nerfs last patch, I haven't really seen tournament level Banana Guard play. So I'm kind of interested to see, like, can he do this up because I'm pretty sure up air into up special got nerfed this last patch. But Banana Guard still has like amazing aerials that can really open up the games. So I'm interested to see like how these changes are going to impact Banana Guard.
Just don't get stun locked. This will be the grossest combo of damage ever from this team. Banana Guard dash attack in off of the Wonder Woman jab will be so gross. So just don't get caught by it. That's all I can say. We'll see this game already coming off to the races, so not expecting anything patient out of this one.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this banana bird's gonna do, because they nerfed like Nair, which I thought was his best move last patch, like this Nair to approach, and you already see Falsey kind of going for it a lot here. Can't really do much out of it, but Poro kind of winning the 1v1 really hard on his side.
Yeah.
Melly already 100%, and I mean, Falsey going for stuff, it's not as easy, but Poro is just playing so well right now. I mean, already got that first stock, has Rage Kick, and is about to land it here too.
Yeah, Shiro doing a really good job of frontlining, just kind of letting Poro do what he wants. Frontlining so hard on the edge guard that Poro's able to just sit there on stage and charge Rage. Gonna hold on it for now. And there's the kick, and it is gonna land as well. So Millie armor broken and some damage done. That's a really casual damage lead starting to present itself, and now make that a stock lead as well. Almost there for the finish on the Sair, but still great work, and now they'll convert.
It's only been a minute and 3 stocks are already gone.
I just noticed that.
Dude, the short hopping, allowing Wonder Woman to just sit at ledge and mash short hop on you seems like the most annoying thing to play against. Having to play against Shiro just mashing short hop Sair on ledge, and then you have to get past it in order to get to the Shaggy charging Rage. And like we already see how much damage it can do. Poro in burn out the top blast zone. They're trying to chase, but the Wonder Woman is just doing such a good job of defending. You can barely get anything going here. And I mean, already like both teams kind of on their last stocks. But Poro is just doing such a good job this game. I'm gonna be honest. He looks invincible this game.
Yeah, I mean, really, you've got a fly in their ears buzzing around his Shiro, which just allows Poro to kind of sit there and hit them distracted. It's really convenient for this team right now. Nothing going to be found with that Rage Kick. Falsey single-handedly trying to put them back in this game. Took 2 of Shiro's stocks, but will it be enough with such high percentage?
I mean, that was super good. The dash attack into that Sair follow from Poro, just like really good team play from Shiro and Poro that entire game. We saw them really like benefit, like Wonder Woman holds the ledge while Poro charges. Like they both are so good at following up on what each other are doing that it's just like, even though like Falsey and Melly brought it back and it ended up being really close, just like the early momentum and then like that last confirm is just so good.
Bro, forget the win prediction. Chat, do we get a game this series that goes over 3 minutes? That's really the line I'd like to see, Ran. It's tight, but it's not.
Definitely. The games are just so fast. I mean, like both teams are just so explosive in what they can do, and their follow-ups on each other are so good. And it just lowers the kill percentages by so much. So like going into like these next games, it's going to be like, do they like ever slow down the pace, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Do they ever slow down the pace? I do like that first game started with this kind of 1v1, and we're seeing that again. Shiro very high already, and Poro gonna go save him. That's nice. Last with a pop of armor too, so they both get back into neutral to start setting up yet again. They break armor pretty cleanly from Melly as well, and it's slowly starting to fade back into red team's favor. Still though, stock percentage going to be up here for blue. And this game, already the banana guard nerfs have kind of come into play. Like, Falsey ended up hitting like that up air into up special. It wasn't even true this patch, right? But up special got a horizontal kill like change where now it sends more to the side and it's more easily DIable. And we can see that because Shiro didn't die at the top blast zone at 50. Last patch, if he's there at like 30, he's dead. But this patch, not so much. So those nerfs are already kind of coming into play. But side air was not as like wasn't nerfed as heavily. So banana is still such a threat. But it's just interesting like how this matchup has changed from last patch. Oh, Falsey in burnout, caught up by Poro. That could have been really disgusting. Shiro the TP over as well. Don't quite convert it, so that looks out for them at least. We'll go hard into neutral here. Up air from Poro. A chance to finish this one, Melly. Good DI though. We'll get out of it.
I mean, both teams are just trying to find anything. Red team, though, just hasn't managed to be able to get one of these kills yet, and they're both taking so much damage. It kind of feels over. Like, unless Poro can manage to get both kills and then live for basically another full minute of neutral, it's pretty much over.
Chance to grab one here. Shield gonna save Poro, but for how long? Somehow still alive. Gonna charge Rage off stage, but they need so much here. Melly's low. That gives some hope, possibly. Falsey almost needs to just sneeze on him to finish this one, though, and Poro gonna head away yet again.
Yeah, Poro just kind of has to run away the entire time. You don't really survive any strong hit against either one of these characters, and baiting them off stage is the way to make a comeback, but it's just not enough against Melly and Falsey. Yeah. I mean, it just feels like when any team gets momentum, the other team is so good at, or like they're just so good at just holding that momentum. Like those early leads are so important in a meta as fast paced as this one. Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. And that one really speaks to adaptability from Melly and Falsey to slow the pace down, able to get such a lead at one point, holding the same percentages up 2 stocks. Just a really good looking game from them. And Shiro and Poro to step back into it. Gonna have to play a bit slower themselves. Have to give a little room here. Really capitalize on Shiro setting up, front lining, and allowing Poro to put work in. We need the same thing here in this one.
Yeah. As we go into this game, I think it's interesting looking at the perks they're running, right? We can't even see it here. I don't know if it's bugged or not, but blue team is actually running a perk that got buffed this patch that essentially gives everyone in your team 15 gray health when you respawn. Or 30 when it's stacked. It's so good that it kind of had to be, you can't run 2 in this tournament, like it's just not allowed. But Shiro and Poro actually are opting to run double snowball instead of that gray health perk. And like we see here, Melly spawning in with 15 gray health. It can be like the difference between a lot of damage and none.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you tank a hit immediately off of it. It's huge potential. Shiro already up, is going to have Poro there. Just one dash attack, all it takes to kind of reverse this one back the other direction. And that's enough to convert. Shiro with the Sarah going to pull it out. That's a second stock up. And Poro even able to charge here. So that's rage back. Couldn't quite find it off the aerial though.
Yeah, the stock count for red team is so nice here. They're on a 1-3-5 stock rotation, so even if they both die, you pretty much have to kill a full stock here, while both members of the blue team are kind of taking damage. So even though like they're both offstage and a disadvantage, they're in such a good spot overall, especially if one of them can manage to live for a long time.
That's from Melly. Falsey just kind of chill for a bit. Stuck in burnout here, and you see the red team starting to realize going to come down and grab damage. We'll turn back to start the combo onto Melly. Nair going to grab both from the blue team, and that pushes them into dangerous territory. Falsey able to live off the punch.
Just I mean, both teams just trying to fish for something right now. Red team trying to just live. The jab up special isn't enough to kill Banana Guard at 104. Both teams just trying to get any amount of openings, but again, these situations just favor Shiro and Poro so heavily. Both red team members lose their lives, but you basically have to full kill somebody here, and Falsey's at kill percent to things like Shaggy Jab, to things like a good Wonder Woman Sarah off stage, and both members of the blue team are just stuck off stage. We've seen how hard it is to get back when Wonder Woman and Shaggy are just both throwing out their options.
Falsey just chilling on ledge. Melly's made some spacing. Gonna go look for a charge here. If you're Falsey, what can you find? Can't take any damage, so it makes the trade so dangerous. Reason why they're not able to find anything. And offstage it again.
Shiro is at 85%. It is getting dangerous for red team. They gotta either choose to kind of both go after Melly here, or yep. I mean, really well done. Double up special from Shiro is gonna be enough to get the game, and that's 2-1 for them. But I mean, there, like you saw, like even though they were at a really good like stock rotation, it got close. Melly and Falsey are just so good at like living when it matters. And like, I mean, there, like we saw how close it got. It was just almost what they needed to kind of get that reversal there of that momentum.
Melly doing a really good job of just making space there for Falsey. Constantly able to charge, just not quite able to find anything. And it's like the double-edged sword of the fact that Melly frontlining so hard that it's giving you room to charge rage, but alternatively, you don't have any percentage to really give away, so you're not quite able to convert off of it. Looking for safe options. So a dual-edged sword, still a good-looking game though, and a good-looking series. It's going to be the blue team needing to win this one to take it to 5. Yeah,
definitely. And I mean, already both teams, they're so aerial based, right? You got like your things like Banana Guard, Nair, Sarah, Wonder Woman, Sarah, and Nair, and then Shaggy, pretty much every aerial of his. Both teams are just so aerial based, and it kind of is just like swatting at flies, man.
Man, those were some really tough red team 1v1s. Blue team really taking it to them early. And now you see the red team start to get together. They'll get some percentage back. It's going to be a lack of a range charge. Enough to bait them down. A dare picked up from Poro.
I mean, just good bait from Poro. Cancels that charge into that down air. You see Melly kind of getting a little bit greedy there, trying to punish the Shaggy. But just ends up dying really early for it. And now red team in a pretty good spot, all things considered, with how bad their original fights went. Both teams just trying to kind of find any amount of space, and the Sares from Shiro are just so good. The follow-up from Poro is everything. And another Shiro, that should be stock. I mean, Brian isn't able to actually get the down air. Really good Sare from Melly there to kind of save himself. Jab into side special is going to be enough from Falsey to take Poro stock, and I mean, that could have gone so much worse for blue team.
Yeah. Well, the fact that Melly's the only player in this lobby as well not running Airwalker and able to make it back on that recovery, that's ridiculous coming off of just the base amount of moves.
They're running Airwalker? Oh, wait,
yeah.
Wait, the wind beneath your wings.
Sorry. The extra jump. What's actually called?
Yeah, wind beneath your wings, I think.
Yeah, sorry.
I got really confused. I was like, they're running Airwalker? That's crazy.
Like, yeah, where's the platforms? I haven't seen a platform. Yeah, my fault.
Yeah, no, all good. I was like, that'd be so sick. I want to see Airwalker in tournament at some point. But I mean, here, like, Shiro and Poro just in a good spot. Like, Poro is the one you kind of want living on this team. He's such a good stock tank, and he's kind of the one that has to live right now. Both teams need only one more kill. Shaggy opting not to go for that up special, gets it there, but doesn't manage to get the kill. Jab side special. Poro's trying to find a kill here. He's fishing for it so hard, he just can't get it. Almost in burnout. And I mean, blue team is just trying to find any amount of space here.
Ooh, good projectile dodge. Gives him some extra room here. Yet again, it's that look for the front line. Poro not going to charge rage here. Shield now deactivated. Shiro just throwing out punches. Not quite able to find anything. Is trying to give some spacing. Still, that rage charge not going to come through. Blue team
Poro doesn't manage to get the rage.
Pressure.
Oh my gosh, the really good DI on Melly not to die to that whip pull into down air, and then Falsey managing to get that punish with the Sarah on Banana Guard, setting us to a game 5 situation.
I mean, that is like inches too. That tip on the Sarah for Falsey to find that one is ridiculous. And they do force a game 5, but man, you got to be sweating after how close that game comes.
It's definitely so, like, this is such a close series. I mean, either one of these people could realistically win it here. But it's just like the games are so back and forth. Even like if you get an early lead, like unlike like the last series we watched, it feels like whoever gets a lead, like there's still an opportunity for a comeback, like we saw in that game. Even if like the start goes really well for the blue or the red team.
Okay, Melly's slowly getting singled out here. That's a quick reversal, though, to put Shiro pretty high in percentage already. And still kind of losing this frontline duel. Does manage to turn it. Almost there on the kick. Can't quite find it. Poro looking to finish off top. Big shield pop to bring them back to stage.
Yeah, definitely really good for Melly. But that jab into up special is still so strong. Gonna end up finding that kill at around 110 on Wonder Woman. And now, like, you're just gonna want to see red team kind of live as long as they can. Unfortunately, they're both kind of at a higher percent than Falsey. Falsey is just so good at living, so good at not taking damage, as we saw from like last game especially. Another whip pull getting punished by Shiro. I feel like that's the second time he's lost a pretty important stock to fishing for that one off stage. But that Nair dash stack that we know Wonder Woman players for is just enough to get that kill and even up the game in stock count.
Yeah, I think with movement speed, it's made it a lot harder to hit that whip pull. It's so much easier for players to get out of it. Just the fact that they can kind of carry momentum a bit faster. Also, jump more options just to jump over the top of it. It's just really hard to hit. And it gets you off stage for so long. It's so easy to be able to capitalize on the whiff. Red team's still gonna have a lead here. Melly high percentage, just chilling in neutral right now, fighting Poro, slowly working into 1v1s. I don't think that's where you want to be if you are this blue side right now.
Yeah, Poro is actually in a pretty bad juggle situation, manages to get down, but now blue team pretty much has that percent lead that you really want. The side art from Poro after the fallout from Shiro is just so good though. But Falsey gets the good respawn close to the fight, enough to pressure Poro. Poro gonna go for a charge here, isn't really able to lock it down, and you really now just need to kill this Wonder Woman. But the up tilt, it's not enough to get the kill. Both teams just fishing for anything, any amount of lead, any percent that they can get. But it's just so intense here.
Melly keeping him in this game, sat at 101 through 2 different stock trades. It comes down to Melly or Poro. Shiro going high percentage here, and it's a dare snuck out from Falsey to finish the job. And they managed to turn this one back down 2 games.
Yeah, what a comeback from Falsey and Melly. Falsey there at the end, going for the up special on the Wonder Woman just to kind of bounce back and go for the dare on the Shaggy. Really good bait and switch coming out from them. Really, really smart. Falsey played like so well during that entire set. Just kind of proving that even with those Banana Guard nerfs, he's still a meta-relevant threat. And really well played by him.
Yeah, it's a stair tip, bro. It just touches so far. I mean, I feel like if we had the graphic in front of us, it's like 80% of stocks taken for Falsey there coming off of that stair. I mean, it just works so nicely. But yeah, it is going to be a Shiro and Poro moving forward to fight Mats and Brian Yeet. And winners final. We'll see if we jump to that game where we get to the lowers. I'm actually not super positive.
I think we'll probably be rotating to the lowers. So we're either gonna.
Yeah, you are correct, Lion. You are correct.
Yeah, so we're either gonna be seeing Musty Nobody and his teammate Dorian versus Uzi and Greeted, or we're gonna be seeing Gore find Carry versus Ares and Moises. Both of which I think are going to be really incredible games to watch, throwing in some characters that we really don't get to see too much. So I'm super excited about it, and I'm really, really, I don't know. It's so good to see some of these characters back. It feels like last patch we saw so much, like, Powerpuff Girls, Shaggy, Wonder Woman, Steven, the usual suspects. But now we're getting to see some of those characters that were kind of gatekept a little bit come back and make tournament runs.
Yeah, I'm seeing less Stevens, which. Yeah, I'm personally very happy about it. Every local I've ever been to, I've lost to a Steven to take me out of bracket. So I'm a big Steven hater. It's a personal vendetta, I'll admit it. But less Stevens on the top 8, the more hours of sleep I get at night, simply put.
Don't worry. I also got knocked out of a few tournaments due to Steven, so I feel you on that one. But here we're going to be seeing Uzi and Greeted versus Musty Nobody and Dorian. So we're going to be seeing Jake and then Black Adam versus Superman and Gizmo. I'm excited to see Gizmo in bracket. I'm obviously a Gizmo player. So it's going to be really cool to I don't know, watch a Gizmo. I'm super excited about it. Sorry. I'm really, really excited.
I think Greed is a good one to be excited about as well. I also think Uzi making a case for possibly best Superman as well. I think for a long time we had it as Anthos, but tournament results starting to creep up for Uzi, especially in ones. Uzi just pushing more top 8s, pushing farther top 8 finishes as well. I mean, Anthos had some PC trouble, so I don't want to dog him or anything like that. Had a month of no results off of his game, just running absolute garbage.
Why? But I actually didn't know about that.
Nonetheless, I think Uzi slowly making a case for that #1 spot and continuing through working towards top 8 here in this one. Would put it up even higher.
I don't know. I actually have never seen really Dorian make a tournament run before, so it's super cool getting to see him in top 8 already. Musty Nobody obviously has been a Jake player. That's kind of, I didn't really know about him before the beta ended. So seeing a new player come up and kind of make his name, especially on a character where a lot of people don't really consider Jake to be too good. Seeing a relatively new team make it pretty darn far in this bracket.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of teams that we don't see too often. I know I highlighted the big names, always looking good in patches. But to see some new players come through is great. I do also agree that Jake looked better than he did. Certainly for a while, I think Jake was almost non-viable. Seems C-tier-ish to me. But some potential there, especially the fact that Jake has more options than just eat your opponent and hope that you can get close enough to the blast zone to throw them off. Has definitely made him a little bit more viable in some of these matches.
Yeah, Jake kind of went from just mash bite and hope that you can gimmick your opponent out or combo with your teammate hard enough to now he's a lot more nair oriented. I think it's a little more toxic, to be honest. I fought Jakes who kind of just use only nair. We're gonna see it in the Moises match because Moises is on Jake. I think Musty does it a little bit less, but we're definitely gonna be seeing some nairs come out this set from the Jake.
Yeah, I think the fact that Nair does get spammed so much, it can really dwindle dodge meters. The fact that you just constantly have to be watching out for it, which does start to kind of shift the game as well, as long as players do continue to bite on it, not to be confused with the move, but the dodge itself. So that makes things interesting. It's just the fact that they can capitalize off of it. Also might make things interesting going into Grid, the fact that you have the opportunity to shut down some of the note and arrow spam from the backline if you're able to get in there far enough through to deny some of that neutral control.
Yeah, I think Gizmo is actually pretty good into Jake. I think Jake kind of struggles to really deal with a lot of what Gizmo has to offer, especially because Jake, a lot of his only really good approach is Nair, and Gizmo Arrow is so good at shutting that down. And then I think Black Adam is an interesting character for Gizmo. I think Black Adam on the side of Musty Nobody. So they're running Black Adam Jake. I think that's actually a pretty good comp into Gizmo because of that Black Adam. where it's a hard matchup. Like the bubble kind of shuts you out.
Right.
And stuff. But it'll be interesting to see like how Uzi kind of opens up the match for Greeded, because like if Gizmo can get good positioning against the comp, it can feel really hard for them to do anything about it. So it's, as we go into it, it's really all going to be about how much like space they can really get against this comp.
Yeah, for sure. We can start to preface the rest of the bracket, I suppose. Moss Brian Yee, Falsey Melly. Any early thoughts for that line while we
I think Mods and Brian Yee have a pretty good chance to like make it. Obviously, it's a Harley instead of a Wonder Woman on their side, but I think it's definitely possible for them to kind of make it. We saw them kind of steamroll in their winter semis match, and I think they're in a really good spot to just kind of carry that momentum with them and just kind of overwhelm Falsey and Melly.
Okay. Let's talk about the other lower side as well. Gorfai Carey, Aries Moises, anything interesting? What's Moises playing today?
Moises actually was on the Jake earlier today. They were running Jake Raven, which I think is really cool. Not a team comp that I thought was gonna be seen in top 8, but I'm excited. Moises obviously more known for the Steven, but on Jake this tournament. And speaking of Jakes, we're about to get into the Must See Nobody Dorian versus Greeded Uzi set. And
Greeded on Adam.
Yeah, Greeded's actually switching to Black Adam. Doesn't maybe feel comfortable fighting against a Black Adam, so opting to pick up his own secondary himself. And I don't know, I'm excited for it.
The only things that makes me nervous about it is you got to go win the 1v1 then. But I'll take it. As long as you feel confident in it, I'll take it. Interested to see the Jake. It's been a long time since I've seen a comp Jake in either ones or twos. So, especially on stream. So very interested to see what Musty brings to the table. Hopefully they don't end up as a nobody.
Yeah, definitely. Even just like going into it, I think Greeded, he's actually had a secondary Black Adam that not a lot of people have known about for a few months now. So it's nice to see it actually like getting more play in tournament. But going into the first
bubble rush.
Yeah, instant bubble rush. They just know that the other team's kind of going to want to set up. They're trying not to really let that happen. Obviously, both teams kind of just want to get in, get a lot of damage, and like rack up a lot of team combos. And I think not having that
so hard.
yeah, but not having like those gizmo arrows to stop some of these team combos is going to end up really hurting them, like we see here. Like the team combos are just so important, and like if you don't have that gizmo, you can't really stop them.
Oh, that's so goofy. The bite in, simple throw on stage for Musty straight into the clap. You saw him look for it. The stock initially couldn't find it. Found it the second time, though. It was very comfortable. And so if you're Uzi and Greeded, an option you're going to have to be on the lookout for, which kind of means you have to play together too, right? As soon as the Jake bites, you have to be there to try to get your teammate back out, or at least hit towards the Black Adam to make sure he's not instantly going off the blast zone. That's going to be scary to watch out for through this set.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to be on top of things. You can't really let the Jake go unchecked. If he bites your teammate, you have to send some kind of support in, or at least keep the teammate off them. But it can be so difficult. And already we're seeing here, kind of red team running away in terms of a percent lead. But, I mean, Blue's kind of winning both of the engagements right now, so we're going to see if they can try and mount this comeback.
A parry from Musty there, so it is going to be the Black Adam slowly starting to get put into the combo cycle to very high percentages, though. There's the first off the clap, just looking for one more, and Greeded gone now as well. It's a 2-stock advantage for game 1 on the red team.
I think Musty Nobody's controller disconnected. It didn't matter. I don't think it didn't end up mattering in the end, but he was not moving for like the last 10 seconds of the game, which is kind of funny.
Controller DC, or he just knows his teammate got it on lock?
Yeah, he was like, you got this.
Nah, Dorian, take it, big dog.
Yeah, Dorian ended up clutching it out, though, so it ended up not really mattering. And we're seeing a return to lobby, which honestly could mean a character swap, which I honestly wouldn't be shocked by.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you look for the 1v1. I think the fact is, in this specific comp, the juice is just more there for Dorian. It doesn't have anything to do with really like the 1v1 on the character. It's just that bite combo is disgusting. They got 3 different good looks at it. So you're going to need something else to disrupt. And I think that checks out, or I could, be yapping about nothing. And it could just be that he needs a new cord for the controller, needs some new AA batteries.
True. I do think that, like, again, like we saw, yep, Greeded's right on that Gizmo. I kind of expected it. I'm kind of surprised he didn't start on Gizmo. Maybe just wanting to try out the Black Adam and feeling more confident in it. But I think Gizmo does really well into Jake, and you kind of need that in this matchup. Because like we saw there, like if you don't have like that arrow to sort of pressure it out, you can just get bit into that neutral clef from Black Adam, and it's just so easy to die. So going into like game 2, it's all about like, can you mitigate the Jake value as a Gizmo? And can Uzi like really like pop off and do what we've seen him do time and time again and kind of like take over the game?
All right, game 2 on its way, confidently won. This is game number 1 for Dorian and Musty. New factor though, of course, going to be the Gizmo. Is that enough to give blue team an edge, or at least a much closer second game?
I personally think it like definitely is, especially one whose Gizmo is as good as Greeted. We kind of see it there, like already so much value from it. Winning 1v1's pretty hard, using those arrows to kind of stuff out approaches. Like even here, like we see him just kind of taking over. He is now getting a little bit damaged, but again, Gizmo's such a good stock tank that like, even though Uzi like might die, you know, 2 or 3 times this game, you might even have like the stock count to be able to do that with a Gizmo on your team.
I like that look there from this for the blue team as well. The fact that Uzi able to sit there and just charge, and if there is anyone looking to rush down, it's simply just Greeted arrow in the back line that try to protect. It looks very nice early. Greeted gonna go high, is able to dodge. The Jake there's will live, but can't say the same for his teammate. Uzi first stock gone.
Yeah, Uzi getting caught out by that Black Adam lightning grab. Dorian playing really well this set, just like kind of getting a lot of the openings that he needs to. And I mean, as much as like we were talking about it, I feel like they're kind of just losing the 1v1s pretty hard, which isn't something that I would think from 2 primarily ones-based players.
Starting to work it back now. You know, trade's gonna come through. It was high percentage, so at the very least, they're gonna walk that back. Pretty close here, even as well, when it comes to these last 2 stocks. So it's really gonna come down to, I think, who takes this 3rd stock for what could be the end of this game.
I mean, Dorian has such good follow-ups. Like we even saw it there, another bite nair coming out from them. Greeted off stage in disadvantage. Is he going to be able to get back? The lightning grab from the Black Adam is enough. Uzi manages to dodge really well that Jake's there, but I mean, again, they're in such a good spot. Uzi needs to live, but he is in burnout against Jake. And Greeted trying to find anything off stage, but he's just not able to. I mean, Musty Nobody really only at 50%. They need to get some damage on him before Uzi goes too high, but it doesn't really seem like they're really able to get these openings that they've been looking for.
A kick to try to disrupt. Greeted car out. No one able to kill it either, and that's enough to convert. Uzi looking to bring up Musty as well. Couldn't find the grab. Honestly, teammate arrowed him out of it, which is awkward. Hopefully doesn't come back to bite them later. It's back down as Dorian so high here, but does manage to make it back easily. Low percentage, so not going to be knocked back too far.
Yeah, Uzi at 114, getting pressure by the Black Adam and the Jake off stage. Greeted trying his best to kind of cover. Gets the car out, doesn't really manage to get anything off the instant hop out of it. Greeted hits another arrow. Jake's at 122. He's getting bit off stage on the platform. He has to dodge to Sarah, manages to do it. Uzi in burnout, no longer in burnout, trying to live as much as he can. It's so dangerous for both these teams. Greeted hits another arrow. Can't get anything off of it though. Oh my gosh. He lives to ground
just spamming there on ledge. Can't find any of them. Musty so low here, and Dorian really doing a good job of frontlining. Trying to keep Greeted off this car. Finally will break it out. And Musty so high percentage, still managing to live. Uzi coming on his way as well. Does find a bite, but it's not enough to save the day. Uzi and Greeted going to get one back.
Yeah, that was such a close match. I think they had a Uzi and Greeted kind of didn't even have that good of a start. So if they can like tighten up that like early gameplay and really lock in, it's so possible. Not to just like kind of maintain that lead.
Do a good job of segmenting this red team. When they get together, it looks so dangerous. You mentioned that lightning grab that you see for stock 3. That comes purely off of Dorian sits there on ledge, holds lightning grab low, and Musty's right on top of him coming off platform with the nair. There's literally nowhere to go in that situation. Yeah. If this team can get together, they have so much option coverage. So Uzi and Greta doing a good job of slowly forcing this red team into space, forcing them into 1v1s, giving them the chance to actually utilize their own tools.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they're just doing a good job. Like, both teams are kind of playing really well, and it's nice to see that, like, nobody's really feeling like they're doing nothing, right? Yeah. Jake's getting a lot of neutral wins. The Black Adam is holding his own. Grid and Uzi both kind of supporting each other and living as long as they can. So it's actually really nice to see how they're kind of playing, that both teams are kind of playing together to get these wins.
Ooh, big damage early from the blue team. Clap back to stage, but fortunately Greed is there to kind of break up the play. Have that going for them at least. They do have control of neutral, but you wouldn't know it based on the percentages. Still getting absolutely hammered by this blue side. Red team both so high percentage already. Looking to finish Dorian early as Uzi gets turned around, and that's unfortunately going back the other way. Red team really capitalizing on whiff punish.
Yeah, I mean, Greed is only taking 48% though, which is so nice. Like, you want this Gizmo to not really take any percent. And Graded doing just so well this game, getting the arrows where he needs to, not really taking a lot of damage, everything you kind of want to see from your Gizmo. Like there we have a
burnout.
I mean, yeah, both teams are just trying to get anything. Oh, you don't have an arrow to really interrupt that, so you get that team combo going. The double down air from Black Adam into the neutral clap is crazy. Blue team kind of trying to get anything. That armor application from getting the bite on your teammate is going to be enough to save him from the side special, but Graded eventually just ends up getting that kill onto Jake. Good card to kind of stop a lot of Gizmo's set play. Great nair too. Ended up securing that kill. And I mean, things are winnable for both sides. Musty Nobody's not really on a lot of percent, and you can honestly go for Uzi again here. I think it's a lot easier to kill Uzi here than it is to kill Greeded. So if I'm red team, I'm just gonna be like, yo, we should try and get a lot of the percent on the Superman here.
Dorian managing to get this extra credit has been very crucial. You know, I say it and he's dead. What are you gonna do? But fortunately, it is gonna be like another 40-ish% caught off before he does go down. They are looking hard for Greeded here, and so much so they'll find it. That'll leave the red team up. Yeah,
they just, I mean, good tipper up tilt from Musty Nobody kind of to secure that game 3. And I mean, Graded and Uzi, I mean, how are they going to really respond to this? Like, what do you think they need to do in order to make this game 5 a possibility?
Oh man, it's tough. I think they do look better early in that game. You get Uzi fighting hard on Dorian, you get Greeded fighting hard on Musty, and it looks good. It's the moment they start to come back together, I'm telling you, the combos are just so much better for Dorian and Musty. We see that bite clap combo come out 3 or 4 times, and neutral, suddenly the game's going a completely opposite direction. I mean, it feels like if that clap combo comes out, it's almost at 330%. It feels like a Shaggy rage kick coming through, and it's easier to hit in my opinion as well. So you really can't let these guys play next to you, and I think they did a good job of game 2 of utilizing 1v1s, but you know, right back to the same thing towards the end of game 3.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely agree with that. I think when they let the game get a little bit more scrappy is when they kind of start losing percent. I think Jake and Black Adam, when they're kind of stacked on each other, you end up losing so much in terms of like trading potential, because Gizmo and Superman just do not have the same amount of like trade potential that like a Black Adam and a Jake Nair do. And especially Black Adam, like if you can chain lightning you both, that's ignite plus shocked plus like your teammate gets a pretty much free hit or 2 out of it. So you can really like rack up like 50% if you get unlucky on both players. So I think it's really gonna be about like, I don't know, Gizmo kind of denying a lot of what like the team combos can be for them as we get into this game number 4.
And no changes for game number 4. We'll just jump straight back into it. It's up to Uzi and Greeded to find themselves some more percentage here. All these games pretty scrappy, pretty close. Well, that makes sense. I was gonna say real long load time here. Who's playing from the McDonald's? But yeah, so quick little crash. You know, it'll take a second. Yeah,
I think Musty ended up crashing there, but hopefully it doesn't delay it too long. But I don't know. For this game, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of expected Uzi and Greeded to be a little bit more dominant. It's kind of shocking to me, at least, that they're on this like game 4 potential upset win or upset loss. I was really expecting them to come out swinging, but it's nice to see that like Dorian and Musty are able to kind of keep the pace, if not exceed it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, a team that we don't see us often, but a team that has some big wins in the rest of this bracket already. They beat Cleo Fox, they beat Mystic early in this bracket as well.
Yeah, they did.
Misty C, depending on how you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure he likes it. The ass Mystic. Originally it was supposed to be Mystic, so I'll try to honor that for him at the very least, even if the com won't. But yeah, they have some big wins in this bracket, so you know, maybe we don't see them in the top 8, but they definitely have shown today at least that they can make runs, especially against bigger teams. So Not super shocked to see them up right now, but I think to your point, surprised that Uzi and Greeded haven't really taken it to them in the way that we would come to expect.
Yeah, getting those wins, by the way, on Colofox and My Name, and then Gusta and Misty or Mystic are just so important. Like those are really good wins, and especially for like building up confidence going into this losers around top 8. It's just so important to like feel like you can just like know you can win against like really top level teams, and we're kind of seeing it here where they're just like they're both playing well. I mean, in these games, I think Dorian is honestly doing really well in the 1v1. Which I'm really excited to see. I've only fought him I think once before, and he was good when I fought him earlier this season. So it's super sick to see him be able to like translate those to tournament results,
right?
Especially against like really good players who are both. I'd argue that Uzi and Greeded's best mode are also both 1v1. So it's nice to see him being able to kind of turn up and honestly even like exceed kind of expectations and be able to like win some of these neutral engagements that have kind of carried them to these 2 wins.
And really to speak on that Gusta Mystic matchup, the fact that Mystic has never not seen a top 8 of a Frost, at least for the duos mode. So the fact that they're finally shut down, I have started playing with Gusta, so it does change the teammate a bit. But the fact that that's what kills Mystic's run is huge. We'll jump back into it now. PC back oriented, game back oriented. A chance to take this one early for the red team.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really interested to see these adaptations because I think, like we were talking about, the start of their games are always pretty good for the blue team, but when it gets scrappy and when we get in the middle, you see Uzi end up taking a lot of damage, as we kind of see in this game already. Without really being able to answer much in return.
Yeah, slowly creeping their way back. Are going to try to put that one together. It couldn't quite convert it. Uzi looking to break up the play. Big amount of damage there. Card not quite able to get back around. Dorian going to break that one up. And Uzi can't really frontline right now. So high percentage. It makes things really awkward for the blue team. And in burnout.
I mean, Gizmo hitting him up. I think Uzi really wanted that down air there to try and get that early kill on Black Adam. But they weren't really together on that. Must see nobody getting that side air kill. Greeded just trying to do anything he can, but honestly, the car explosion actually will be enough to kill in conjunction with Black Adam's up tilt. But again, both teams kind of just trying to hold on to this last stock on both their players, or this second stock. Both teams just kind of running around in neutral, trying to get any amount of things going. The Gizmo instant car explosion there is going to end up racking up a lot of damage on the Black Adam, but Musty is doing such a good job of living. Uzi with that up special canceled into that up air is actually going to be enough to get that second kill for them. And having that Black Adam is the one you want to kill is actually so much better for them than Jake. We see them not really be able to like pin down Musty, so their kind of strategy decision to go after this Black Adam fully is working out really well for them in this matchup.
Musty playing so far ahead, so low percentage, and is unfortunately going to fall because of it. But now back to a fresh stock, gives him a chance to do a bit more. Uzi high percentage, same thing for Greeded. They got to convert these ones quickly though. Extra percentage going to be huge for the blue team if they're allowed it, which currently they are.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're blue team here, you want to live as long as possible. Waste all your cooldowns to try not to die. Use all your dodge meter and just get as much percent as you can. And we're kind of seeing them do that, where Greeded is playing a little bit more forward than he usually would. Ends up dying to that down tilt into side air. What a really good confirm from Dorian coming out.
Uzi and Burnout gonna approach anyway. Not quite able to find the up air if you're Jake. Means he's back to stage. That's big to keep them going. Finally gonna take it here in neutral. So must need to get it back. And it's one stock the difference.
This is so dangerous because Gizmo's one of the lightest, or tied for the lightest character in the game, right? So him being able to be killed so early from this Jake Black Adam duo just means that if he gets caught off stage, he's in such a bad spot. Playing really well though. Opts to use backpack whenever he's in burnout to try and stall out. Uzi doing a really good job of just kind of holding them off there. Trying to use that car to get in, but the sniper punch from Uzi is just going to be enough to do it. Really well played from them that game.
Yeah, looking to be in control for the most part. It was a awkward moment there around stock 3 in neutral where, it didn't really look in control for anybody, so we'll let it slide. But otherwise, really good stuff, really good game plan from them. Having that crash to kind of talk about it, I think certainly helps. And now into game 5, they can keep it cooking. might be able to turn this one back on its head.
Yeah, I think the difference to me, at least, between like that game and a lot of the previous ones was actually just the momentum and like the pace of the game. I feel like that time Greeted and Uzi were controlling it a lot more heavily. They were slowing things down. Like whenever things got scrappy in the other match, they would end up taking a lot of percent. So it's really good to see them kind of like slow it down, do that pace that especially Gizmo really likes, where you can get these arrow cooldowns back a lot. And just like make sure that they can't really get a lot going on you.
But that's that game 5 on its way. The bubble camp for red team yet again, already going to get that collapse percentage onto Greeted, and they're looking for more off the top as well. Nothing quite there. It's too early in the game, but still damage accrued early for this red team. Gonna look to push Uzi off stage. He's in burnout as well, but they couldn't quite capitalize. Couldn't find it off the dare. Both down, looking for more. The backpack for Greeted to turn that back around, and damage converted onto the Black Adam.
Yeah, there were some really good arrows from Gizmo that stock that kind of saved Uzi's life like 2 different times. Uzi also doing really good to trade. Like both teams right now are playing so well together, where they're covering for each other a lot. Both Musty and Greeted are both doing it a lot, where the other guys are kind of frontlining and then they're both being pretty supportive.
I like that conversion. Using laser and arrow to make sure you got a high-low setup. You're catching him somewhere off of that dodge. There is going to be a trade of stock there, but it's decently high percentage for 2 players on both pairs, so room to work with.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The Black Adam neutral attack into the Jake Nair 2 is so dangerous. Dorian actually missing the follow-up. That would have been a kill on Degreed. And then Uzi getting the sniper punch instead. Actually gonna even up that stock count. Oh my gosh. But what's it called? Uzi gets lightning grab there, which is so dangerous. It almost got Greeted killed, but they managed to both live it somehow. Dude, these Nair 2s from Musty are so crazy. He's gotten so many of them this game. Like, we see that it's just such a good move. Especially against a hero like Gizmo, who's so light. Wow, what a grab from Uzi. Actually, just in perfect spot to follow up on Greeted's attack. But now you're...
That real scary, too.
Yeah, but now you're off stage against Jake, Black Adam, and Nair. That's enough to do it.
Yeah.
Wow, what a bite from Musty. Uzi isn't ready enough to get the punish on it, and they end up actually clutching out that game 5 against Greeted and Uzi. Really well played from Dorian and Musty to get that game 5 win on them. And I mean, they move on.
It's poetic, really. You know, mention the fact that the Jake having a couple more options to work with now. And how does it end? With a bite sent straight off the blast.
Yeah.
Poetry in motion. You love to see it. They'll move forward to fight Shiro and Porfo in quarterfinals. One more lower quarter matchup, or lower round 4 matchup before lower quarterfinals is set. That's Scorefight Carry TF and Ares and Moises. Really interested in that game, especially for the latter team.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good match. We're going to get to see our first gameplay of hopefully Raven in Frostiverse tournaments, which is so cool. I really like Raven. I think Raven is such a good character where you can like really speed up the pace of a game. She kills so early. She struggles like a little bit to get in, but in 2s that's less important. So she can do so much. She can get so many early kills in, and we're going to probably see that as these games go on.
The only thing I'm interested in is I feel like a lot of her ladder options get disrupted in 2s. I haven't really seen a lot of her in 2s, either from myself or from duos. So I can't really speak from personal experience. Obviously, haven't seen it. I got to see it in this tournament right now. But I feel like it's harder to ladder than it would be in solos. The fact that someone actually can be there to break it up. And as long as you're in hits, then you're not going to be throwing stuff together. And then it kind of requires a lot of precision, I feel like, too. Like placement needs to be pretty accurate. You can obviously disrupt the... What's the Raven called? Is that right?
Oh my gosh.
What's the Raven called?
Lenore. It's Lenore. It's Lenore.
Yeah. So that'll make things harder as well. But obviously they made it to the top 8 with it. So, or not top 8, excuse me. They've made it into the stream portion of the night with it. So clearly they know something I don't. Yeah,
Lenore the Raven is actually so good in 2s. I really think a lot of Ravens are underutilizing it right now. Where Lenore, if you use neutral special when Lenore's on your teammate, it kind of acts as an Iron Giant burst.
Right.
And we know how broken Iron Giant burst is. So it's actually going to be so I think as like the Raven meta develops and people get better, you're going to see a lot of like teammates going to collect Lenore to kind of get bursts on themselves, and that like Raven is going to be a lot more of a supportive teammate.
Right, they get the chain too for free damage from players around you. It's pretty easy to pop it. Like, it's just a lot in her favor that can convert into. And then, of course, not to mention the fact that new characters also means you get a little bit of cheese early, just because players don't really quite understand how they work yet, which will make this an interesting set. Obviously, even though Gorfai and Carry, two very consistent players, so have the chance to really lock it in. This is an insane name. Also on IG.
We don't talk about the name. We don't talk about the name. But Raven into IG is actually I think pretty good for Raven. Raven has an unreal kill power. The side air, especially in the up air, are so good at knocking out stocks early. So on a character like Iron Giant, where you kind of want to be living a long time, Raven's actually a really good option into it, where you can just pick up some of the earliest kills across the cast onto it, especially when you get that hood form for Raven.
It's set one, a chance to work into lowers quarterfinals. It'll be a trip with Malignant and Big Johnson awaiting the other side for whichever team takes it. We'll get it started.
This is such a campy match already.
Bro.
The Iron Giant, I think, is thrown out around 15 up tilts in the span of like 10 seconds. Just trying to throw out as many of them as he can. But Raven down special kind of being used to try and mitigate those. But you see here how Moises is choosing to fight Black Adam instead of Morty, trying to prevent the Raven from really attacking Iron Giant here.
It's also worth noting that to kill Lenore, it's 3 hits. So it's also pretty difficult to get that projectile cleared. It requires a lot of attention in order to do so. First stock going to go the way of the blue team.
You can also, I think you can also use armor break or like grab it, but I don't think Iron Giant or Morty really has the best option to do that. So we're going to see a lot of Lenore just kind of being allowed to live. Especially if Eris is on top of things. And that Nair up air from Eris is actually going to be enough to get a pretty early kill on the Morty. They already have 2 stocks. They're really kind of struggling to take these themselves. And yeah, there you see like that Raven up air being so... Yeah, I think they were trying to get a cheeky punish on it.
They wanted to bait that.
Yeah, they wanted a cheeky punish on it, but the Raven up tilt was enough to get the kill regardless. Here, I mean, our blue team is in such a good spot. Raven is still alive. The Sarah at 183% is going to be enough to get that kill, but I mean, IG is such like, you can just kind of beat up IG with this comp, especially if like he doesn't have burst like he doesn't, and he's not going to have it for another like 20 seconds.
Chain burst there, take the IG back in the air. We'll go into rage here, but I don't know.
Yeah, rage mode for IG is... Yeah, rage mode as IG is probably about as much as you do. Raven can down special it, but how safe is down special in this matchup? They both get put in the bubble. This could be so huge for them. It actually leads to a kill on that Jake that we were kind of looking for earlier. Carry at 120% is actually so dangerous. A random grenade that got reflected from the Jake house almost gets the kill at 120, but it's not going to be enough. Sayre Gorfai barely lives it. Tether is actually on cooldown now. They can't really use it to secure these. Really good job from Jake using that spit hitbox to actually interrupt that jab neutral attack attempt from Carry. And they pick up game number 1.
Surely. Okay, I was gonna say surely we're back to lobby here. Go. Carry literally has only played maybe 10 seconds of that game. Like, just getting spaced out so hard. You don't have Lenore, you get the burst option projectile instead. Moist is of course able to just spam punches. Like, it feels like Carry cannot get close, and he needs to if he's gonna actually do damage here. So I don't love how that game looks. They do bring it close, but I really don't love how it looks. We'll see though. Game 2 on its way. If they can make this one look close too, you know, I'll eat the words, but I'm nervous because as soon as Aries and Moises understand it, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Iron Giant getting shot out of the match is definitely a possibility. I think Carry, especially towards the end there, was generating like a lot of value, right? But especially at the beginning, you can kind of see how IG was just kind of getting shut out by honestly just better hitboxes. Right now, Lenore's on Moises, and we're going to see Eris just opt to go for the side special. Not really saving for that burst stuff that we were talking about earlier, but just trying to get as much damage as you can early on. And here you see Carry kind of using that Nair at a disadvantage, which did get nerfed last patch. You can't fast fall while doing Nair anymore. And we're seeing how it's kind of getting shut out here. Carry is in such a bad spot, but he does have Rage Mode if he manages to make it back to stage. Yep, and good burst from, or good tether, right? From the side of Glorified and make it back. But again, you're really not getting a lot of value off it. The Raven knockback is actually so massive that he's really not getting a chance to be on stage like he wants to. And I mean, is that Glorified's second stock that he's lost this game?
Yep.
That's pretty rough on his end.
Carry gun.
Rough for him. Yeah. Again, this game is kind of dominant. Eris only at 30%. Carry actually getting that jab into a jab cancel up special. Really sick Iron Giant tech. But again here, he's just kind of getting, I mean, like Eris is just kind of side airing on him. Carry getting these Iron Giant jab Nair combos going on. Not really able to get too much off of it though. The Jake, I mean, I'm seeing Moises kind of run over Glorify on the right side of the stage.
Yeah, almost read that TP too.
Yeah, he's really not losing neutral in a matchup where I think you'd kind of favor Morty there traditionally. But it's just showing how Moises' Jake is no joke. And no fuel on IG is just gonna end the game in a pretty unfortunate way for them. I don't know, this has been kind of dominant so far. It's not like what's it called?
There we go.
They really haven't had that much of an opportunity to kind of make a play here.
Yeah, I mean, that early ladder coming through from Harrison and Moises combined looked really good. Put a lot of damage early onto Carry. We'll say to Carry's credit, did a really good job of living on it. Lived to 200. But unfortunately, it's just not enough. And then it's the fact that Carry hasn't really felt like a front line at all, so they haven't got a ton of Morty nades out. It's been difficult for Glorify to get going. It just doesn't look like a favorable matchup into this Raven Jake. So they do take it back to lobby. I'm interested to see what they come back out with, but thankfully they're going to come out with something different. Yeah,
I think honestly, I don't even think IG is that good of a frontline into this matchup. I think he actually gets shut out so hard that I think you kind of need a character like a Wonder Woman, a Steven, a Black Adam to try and, or maybe not Black Adam, but like a Wonder Woman or a Steven or a Shaggy to kind of open up for him. Because right now we see a lot of like Carry is like kind of on the back foot a lot of the time, and Glorify isn't ever really in a position to kind of help him.
Right.
Where it's just rough. Like, it looks so hard for Carry to really be able to do anything, and it doesn't even seem that much of his fault. It's just like a hard matchup for him.
Yeah, definitely not Carry's fault. I mean, Carry did what they could with it. Did get a jab combo started in neutral. It's just the fact that you really need to get players looped in so you can start to put damage on the board. You just can't do so. Like, it's just insane spacing, and you know that's fine. Like, it happens, and so walk it back. Carry obviously has pocket characters as well. Certainly has the Wonder Woman they can walk out with. Has a Smith they can come out with. So it's not like they don't have alternatives. It's just which one do they pull? I think I'd prefer to see the Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I honestly, you can really see. Oh my gosh, she actually is going Wonder Woman.
Nice.
I think the Wonder Woman here is a safe option, right? She's obviously a very strong character this patch, right? So we're gonna end up seeing probably a lot of Sares, a lot of Nairs, you know, the usual suspects. And we're gonna see how it goes against Raven, especially because now you kind of have that easy option for Lenore removal, where you can just Nair Lenore and he just will die instantly. Where I think it'll be good in the long run for them, because it'll just give them more options against what they're doing. All right. Already here, we see game one kind of opening, or sorry, game three opening up. They're being a lot more aggressive here. You can see that the Wonder Woman is allowing them to really increase like the tempo of the game and just do as much as they can early on. Right, Moise is already at 42%. I mean, honestly, everyone's kind of even percent here, but now Eris is getting pressure a lot more this game. Moises is trying to help, but you already see here how this more fast-paced comp allows them to really deal with Raven in ways that they really couldn't on IG Morty.
Yeah, the ability to actually properly space this thing out. And Carry able to spam some stairs here on side. Both gonna get clipped in that punch, and a chance to take one with the Sarah will do just that. You got Moises off stage, and Burnout, a nade will hit, and that's 2 stocks picked up the red team for a lead in the first time this series.
Yeah. All right. I mean, RDBC, like, yeah, they're at a lead, and they're at a pretty solid lead too, all things considered. It's just like, how long can Carry and Gorify stay alive? Right, you want to rack up that extra % as much as you can, especially living like through like their armor from that from the stronger than ever perk, I think it is. Oh my gosh, the tether goes out, but I mean, Gorify is the one who ends up dying. He gets another tether cooldown because of it. It's actually so good to just keep Carry stock as long as you can, especially on that Wonder Woman pick, who we can see live so long. Up till the 150 on Raven isn't even enough to nearly kill. And they're racking up so much damage in the meantime. Good Lenore pull on the teammate to kind of secure that first kill, but again, they have to make up so much % here.
Yeah, certainly. Gorify looking to ledge guard here. Moises being real careful with the lack of a dodge. He's gonna start to get together there. Greeted, almost able to put him in the blender, not quite converted. And sitting on Lenore now is Moises, so a chance to really take it to this team. Nothing converted. They're both in burnout, but fortunately going to have the control here in neutral. Gorify sent off, looking to up air, and it'll be the dare instead. Aries one more will do it. Can't find it.
Yeah. Oh, big update. Ares actually does have the hood mode, so that kill % is going to be now. That was an interesting spit from Moises. I kind of would have liked him try and confirm into Ares there, but doesn't. I mean, just tries to get the kill on his own. I mean, Ares just kind of has to live for as long as possible, but the Snake Shot Dart up air is going to be enough to secure that stock, and suddenly it's so winnable for the other team. I mean, they need to kill Carry here, but Carry's doing such a good job of living, and he manages to clutch up game number 3, securing them another shot in this losers top 8 match. Right. I mean, really, really well played from, I think Carry especially, like that swap, just going to the Wonder Woman. You're like, hey, Iron Giant is hard in this matchup. I'm just going to go to Wonder Woman, and I am going to win. And they did. So, it's gonna be interesting. Going into this game number 4, seeing what they can do. All right. I think the start was so good for what's it called? For Gorify and Carry, but going into this next game, I think it's going to be really, really important to just see if Ares and Moises can really mitigate this opening from them. All right. Yeah. All right. We're in game number 4 right now. Going into it, we're really going to want to see these this opening be a little different this time around. All right. All right. Already here you see Ares off to a really good start in this match. Kind of starting up that pressure. Carry in burnout. So is Moises actually. There's so much low meter here, but that armor from Wonder Woman is doing wonders for them to kind of let them be a little bit more aggressive. Moises has Gorify in this offstage position, gets a grab onto Carry, isn't really able to do much with it. On the other side of the stage, you kind of see Ares getting a little bit messed up by Gorify. Every team is at even %, but now you have this 90% on Ares. Things get a lot more dangerous for them. A great nair to send them both off stage, but isn't really able to get anything off of it. As I say that though, Ares able to pick up that up air and get that kill really early. And now it's just Moises versus Gorify, who can live longer. Lenore is back on the table, gets off stage. Really well done by Moises, actually using this bite to kind of go back into the ledge, doing nair into the ledge and then nair 2 to send them out. He's done it 3 times this set, and Carry's almost died from it. Carry just not really being able to get anything out, but Gorify actually really good save on his end. Manages to end up killing Moises, and it's definitely winnable for either team. Gorify at such a low % that even though Carry's at 100, it's so possible. All right. Ares going for the double Sair, but almost puts himself in a really bad spot. These nairs off stage from Moises, though, are just so impossible to deal with. Tipper Sair into the Sair from Ares is going to be enough to do it in a 3-1 fashion. Really, really well played from them. They just kind of had the advantage kind of that entire game. Moises off stage was just so dangerous that they really couldn't do anything about it. All right. I mean, going into that game number 4, I think it was really a toss-up on who could make it. If Carrie and Gorify were able to really continue that advantage that they had going in from that game 3, or if it was close on the other side. But it's really nice to see that that Moises and Eris were able to really just lock in and go on this Jake Raven run, and we get to see more Raven in top 8, so that's really cool. All right. And as we go into this next set, we have 3 more matches that are already like lined up. So it's going to be really close, I think, for both these teams, right? We're going to have Mats and Brian Yee versus Falsey Melly right there on winners finals. And then the losers quarterfinals, we have Shiro and Poro versus Musty and Dorian. And then Malignant Otto and Big Johnson versus Aries and Moises. So it's going to be a lot of Shaggy, a lot of Wonder Woman, and a lot of fast-paced games, which is kind of nice after our last 2 relatively slower-paced games with this Raven, you know, the Mortys, the Gizmos, and the Black Adams. So we're going to see a lot more tempo increases as we go into these next sets, and I'm kind of excited for seeing like how these Shaggy teams and these Wonder Woman teams are going to do against the teams that we've seen in this lower bracket. What do you think, Adnator?
What do I think? It's not like a robot. That's the first most important question.
I think it's slightly better on my end, at least.
Let's go. Okay.
So
you know, I'm interested to see this team pushing forward. I really do think, not to discredit it all, a lot of that matchup comes through the IG just should have been switched a lot earlier. I think it's really tough in that matchup, right? So I'm interested to see how they play into their quarterfinals matchup against Movement and Big Johnston. I think those are also 2 big games, 2 grinders as well. And if that changes things at all, also adding the Stripe into that mix. With the rest of the bracket, I think, you know, Mats and Brian Lee look really strong. I think I'd give it to them for grands as well. I definitely agree with your sentiment.
Okay.
Just the fact that the game is so fast now, and they are playing 2 of the quickest characters. Also, that Sair for Mats in the Brian Yee jab combo for the Shaggy is really convincing. The fact that all they got to do is Sair, Brian Yee can grab 2 punches, immediately up tilt, and then they've got the chance to both have that strong aerial up finish is huge. So there's a lot of potential for that team. They look really good. They also have kind of sweat through every matchup that they've seen. So it just looks like the momentum not going to be killed.
Yeah, they only dropped 1 game to Gorify and Carry in their winners round 2, and then ever since then they just haven't dropped a game. So it's going to be like going into like this next match. I think Falsey and Melly are going to be a team that actually pushes them pretty far. I think Malignant Otto and Big Johnson just kind of were on the back foot the entire set, but I don't think Melly and Falsey are really going to let them get away with a lot of the same stuff that they were getting away with in that match. So I think it's definitely possible if we see Falsey and Melly kind of take it after defeating Sheer and Poro 3-2 with that momentum that they got from that set. And as we go into this match, we're going to see just how the difference in their comp. We're not seeing any mirrored characters. It's Shaggy and Harley versus Wonder Woman and Banana Guard, which I'm glad that we're not really seeing Shaggy or Wonder Woman mirror in winners finals. So we get to see a lot of like different like character and comp diversity and how these characters like play and interact together. And as we get into this match, we're already seeing Brian Yee kind of go with the classics, going for that charge off stage, manages to actually get that hit out, and starting a pretty good damage train onto Falsey. On the other side, Melly is kind of taking the 1v1 against Mats pretty well. And as we see and get further into this game, I wonder if those matchups are going to stay the same. Wow, what a good up air from Mats. Ended up killing Falsey at 50% off the top as Harley, which is just crazy. All right.
Yeah, very crazy. A slower neutral. Set it for the moment being. A million Falsey going to put some damage back to the direction. So high percentage off stage, making me really nervous the way they're fishing for it.
Yeah.
Alive for now. Alive for now. I'm shocked that Sarah's been hit. Melly's doesn't either. So Brian, he managed to make it back at 144.
Yeah, the blue team is at such high percents, but their stock count is pretty good here too. So it's not really that big of a deal. Actually, Harley ends up dying first out of the 3, but Falsey dies for a second time this game, and the follow-up from Brian Yee is perfect. Wow, what a great play from the blue team here. Falsey, though, managing to secure the tie with a Sair, and now, I mean, both teams are in a pretty good spot here, right? Blue team, Melly and Falsey, no stranger to kind of being down in stocks, but the percents are actually pretty still good for them. Like, it's definitely possible here in order for them to make this comeback.
And that gray hit just went a really long way. Able to put these players so high early into these stocks. Falsey's starting to get worked off stage here. Going to be caught as well by the plushie. Barely sent up, though, so is able to get back pretty cleanly. Brian Yee definitely getting capitalized and burnout here. Banana Guard just able to spam up airs. So much damage there, and immediately turns around to do the same thing on Demats. That puts this game a lot closer.
Yeah, they had such a good start, but honestly, the momentum has all been in red team's favor ever since this. They both got the respawn, and that's going to be game number 1. Again, dying early stock 1 isn't really that big of a deal if you can make sure that you don't give them another early stock, right? Because then you're on that 1-3-5 stock rotation, and especially with that armor perk that they're running, you end up having to kill them a lot of times. You have to deal with 3 whole, if not more, armor applications. So it can be so dangerous in these spots that we see them falling time and time again.
I mean, I feel like that gray health coming back into it genuinely converted 100 untraded percentage. Like, it's absurd how much value they got off of it. Definitely changed the pace of that game.
All right, and as we go into this next game, right, this game number 2, I think it's going to be, can Brian and Mott's really maintain their momentum? Because they had a really good start last time, but they just kind of lost all their momentum. So this game, I think it's going to be really important in order for them to maintain that momentum that they're getting and maintain their like team cohesion. But right now, it just feels like Falsey and Melly are kind of running them over a little bit. Brian Yee, though, not really letting that slide, answering back with a combo of his own. All right. Falsey in this Falsey in this offstage what's it called, in this offstage position, and I mean, it's just so dangerous for them. All right, they once again kind of have this early stock lead, but I mean, how long does it really last for? All right, good stock on their end, right? Evening up the percentages. But now Falsey is in this spot where he was last time that we see him do so well in, right? Where he just lives forever. And all right, and here we see, I mean, oh my gosh, I don't even know like what they can really do about it. It feels like every single time they kind of get a lead, they're stuck back in a spot where they can't really get anything going. All right, Falsey again has to be the one to live. On the blue team, anyone could really do it, right? But Falsey at a 31%. Brian Yee going off stage, getting that ID reverse snare in, trying to get any amount of percent going.
Well, that dare have me nervous is gonna work it back though at the very least. Mott's trying to float to allow Brian Yee to get back. Slowly starts to work out that shield big though for this red team to try to push it back to the direction. It's yet again almost the same result as game 1. Suddenly a red team has just found themselves with these massive percentages on the 2 characters you can kill relatively quickly. It's Mott's back off stage, does manage to work it back. Brian Yee, a big kick, couldn't find the knee though, no dare either. And that's Million burnout to live. Is able to turn that one back around, and now Mott's everything to do. Caught off stage, plushie blown up. Looking to trade that one onto Melly. Just barely, that knee doesn't connect.
And again, you're seeing here, like, red team just manages to live. They're always the ones at the higher percent. They always take more percent, but they always manage to clutch up when it matters the most. They never really actually look like they're that far behind. Every single time they're behind, they just manage to live forever. Falsey's so good at holding his stock. They can almost kill him once a game, and they really need to kill him one more time if they want to make these comebacks happen. If they want to make this game 5 a possibility. They're down 2-0 in this set, but they're really going to have to lock in on this next match and really convert these openings that we see them get. All right. Both teams kind of just playing in neutral, right? Trying to get these openings. These the team combo, these blender combos from Mott's and Brian are really what they want to get. They want to get this early percent. They have double snowball effect on for a reason. And here you kind of see it happening where they have this, again, a really good start and they need to maintain it.
Looking to start to juggle a bit here is this Mott's Brian Yee team, and it's one dash attack from Melly to trade that one back. That's the only thing, is they're getting so connected in neutral that it does allow for just one big combo to kind of send them back to their direction and carry them together. Ballsy with a Sayer, gonna hit them away. It's a plushie to blow up that sends Melly high. No one there to convert off of it though. It's 2 1v1s now, slowly getting isolated. The first one won for Brian Yee. Fallsy gonna get to charge rage here off stage.
Yeah, once again, you gotta... Yeah, so once again, we kind of see, I mean, Falsey is still the last one alive. He dies there, and they even up the stocks, right? But again, whenever they both are in this situation, one team has this armor perk and one doesn't. So it ends up being pretty darn good for the red team whenever one of them dies, or whenever they die at the same time, because that snowball effect only really procs if you're ahead. So they don't really get a lot of that benefit that they normally would from the perk. And then you end up just wasting 2 perk slots. And we kind of see it in this game. The Harley double stairs are everything though. Mott's manages to get a really good combo going, and is it enough to really secure this win? Mott's at 52%, has to be the one to live, but on the other side, it's once again Falsey who has to do it all. Oh my gosh. It's just such an intense situation for them. Wow, but Brian getting the double stair, going for the triple, not able to hit it. And I mean, red team now arguably in advantage. Mott's at a higher percent than Falsey, or no, never mind. But Harley is the latest character in the game, and we see it with the upper off the top. I mean, that's the set 3-0.
Oh man, that's such a tough set. Every game is just so close. It's a lead, it feels like, every single bout for the blue squad, and it's those last stocks that just slowly start to get them. It feels like they snowball the momentum just a little too hard. I mean, you really see it there. Brian, he's spamming Sarah off stage, can't convert. Suddenly it's a trade. Now he's the other direction, and from there it's disadvantage for the team. And man, every single game is so close. Those ones hurt the most.
Pretty much every set there was just like Falsey living at the last to like 130%, and then Brian Yee and Mott's just being unable to kill him. And it's like, when you look at that tournament set and you like look at it back, you're like, we needed to kill him and we just couldn't.
Right.
And that's like what loses you in 3-0. And it's like, if you just maybe reverse 1 or 2 of those matches, especially because we saw Brian and Mott's really kind of win at the start of almost every single game. They really ended up getting these first kills on Melly a lot of the time, but they just could never convert it into full match wins. So they're going to probably be kicking themselves over that one, and they're going to be wanting to run it back in grand finals and be like, hey, this is what we can do, and we can definitely win when we if we win that losers finals match.
Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately for them, that is, of course, that winner's final. So they are still in this one. They'll play a yet to be determined opponent. You see there in lowers, we got a couple matches left to go. 2 more before we get to that point. They get the chance at their revenge arc. But certainly a team that's going to be difficult to beat. They still, of course, are carrying all this momentum. A chance to play into an opponent that they possibly have already seen in this bracket as well.
All right. And if we go down to like our lower bracket matches, we're going to see Shiroporo, who lost 3-2 really close to Falsey and Melly. They're going to be fighting Musty Nobody and Dorian. So we're going to get to re-see that Jake Black Adam team from earlier. And then on the other side, we have Malignant Otto and Big Johnson. The first team we got to watch, who are running Striped Garnet, and they're going to be fighting Aries and Moises on the Jake Raven. So both those matches, we're going to get to see double Jake sets, right? Where a Jake realistically could make it into top 4 of this tournament after the patch, which is super sick. And we might even have like characters like Garnet, characters like Raven, who we don't get to see too much, also making deep runs. So that's super, super sick.
Yeah, very, very sick. I love to see the meta shake up. I'm glad that it continues to do so. Really got to give credit to the fact that the dev team is definitely listening, is doing their due diligence. I mean, every season and mid-season patch, it is a textbook to read through the patch notes. There's so many changes every time. So the balancing is pretty solid. I like the fact that we keep getting new metas, keeps the game fresh. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, we get to see at least a lot of shakeup, but like a lot of the top tiers often stay the same in these patches, right? But you often see a lot of characters that are brought up to be able to compete with them. We see it with Jake. We've seen it with Banana Guard last patch, who's actually, even after nerfs, really been able to maintain a lot of his strength, and we see him sitting in winners finals, right? So it's super nice to see like new characters like emerging in the meta at a top level, especially in like the twos environment.
It has been very nice to see the approach too of let's make some characters better as opposed to let's make everybody worse to play to the lowest tiers. Let's bring the low tiers up. It has been pretty nice. And I like the fact that it doesn't feel like these patches are like overstepped either. It feels like there is still some room for players to kind of figure it out. I like that. Yeah. Like the spacing of patches has improved as well. Like other than hot fixes, we're getting like a patch every month. So there's still actually time for players to figure out what the meta looks like before we just give characters, more tools, which is really good. Looking into this next set, I'm pretty sure we get this Hero Portal set first if we continue to work in order. Line either team etching forward in your mind.
I really just trust Shiroporo, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, they're so consistently good at what they do. Their follow-ups are always on point, right? Like, even when they were losing to, like, Falsey and Melly, it never really felt like the set was unwinnable. It was super close. And, I mean, that's the team sitting in winners finals. And when you go 2-3 against them, I just don't see them dropping out at 5th. I see a lower bracket run, and I could honestly see a grand finals reset if they make it there. So, I still have a lot of confidence in them. And, I don't know. I just trust them. I think I'll never not trust them. When I was competing, they were always one of the teams that gave me the most trouble. When I was in like the 2K Frost tournament a few months ago with PZ, they were the team that we fought in the grand finals there, and they ended up doing a reset on us. We managed to clutch it out, but again, like they're so good. And through every meta, through every patch we've ever had, they've always been a good team, and they will continue to be a good team because they just play fundamentally good and go off each other. And that being said, I do kind of want a Must-See Nobody and Dorian upset. Even with all that said, I still think it would be really cool to see like big upsets happen here, even if I don't expect them.
But how many upsets can one team find in one bracket, man?
True.
It feels like all these lower sets for them have been upsets. I mean, keep the ball rolling. I don't mind. Uzi greeted over them. Gusta and Mystic over them is huge. All these sets really scrappy for them as well. So proving that they have the stamina to go to game 3s, game 5s, and pretty much all their sets in the bracket is huge for them. It's just when do you run out of that stamina? They've had a pretty decent amount of rest time at the very least. So as long as the fingers stay warm, it should be good. But yeah, I kind of like that too. Like seeing newer players sneak farther up into top 8 is huge. And I certainly wouldn't mind seeing this team do well.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Like even if they're out here at 5th, like they've done an amazing run. And no one can really take that away from them. And I will be interested to see if they can manage to get this match to be close, because a lot of their matches have been pretty close, right?
Yeah,
like they've had a lot of deciding games, especially against Gusta, Missy, and Uzi greeted. They both went down to last game sets, so we're really gonna see can they fight back and get to this game number 5 that we kind of I don't know, I maybe wouldn't expect it, but if it happens, it'll be super cool to see.
Be super cool indeed. Anything you look at in terms of teams for both of these sides?
So obviously, right, on one side you have the Shaggy Wonder Woman. You don't really have a weakness with that comp, to be honest. Like, both of those characters are so fundamentally sound that it doesn't really happen. But for Jake and for Jake and Black Adam, you have these answers to the armor that teams can struggle with, right? Like, you have this potential to kind of take away stocks early with the Jake Bite setups and these offstage stairs that can get so deadly, these chain lightnings. So I really do think that it's possible for this team to kind of make a comeback and get that win that they kind of want.
All right, well, we'll set it now. Shiro and Poro, Musty and Dorian. One side, tried and true. One side, making a name for themselves here this week. We'll get the job done. We'll find out. Game 1's on the way.
Yeah, already here you kind of see that more defensive setup, right? They're losing stage control, and now they're just kind of getting 1v1 or 2v1 really hard on both of them. Jake only at 18%, right? But again, once you start hitting these lightning grabs on both of them, you can really even that percent back up. Dorian kind of getting really good openings on them. The percent, honestly, I'm kind of shocked it's this close. They had such a good start, and I really felt like they would be able to maintain that. But good openings from both Dorian and Musty to really pull this back. But now Musty is in burnout off stage. It's so dangerous against a team like Poro. And these nairs from Jake are going to do everything to send Shaggy off stage. But can they really secure these? Oh, the rage kick hits both of them. You really got to be dodging that, to be honest. But it's enough to get that kill on Dorian. Musty manages to live it though, right? So it's definitely possible to kind of get that lead back really fast.
Yeah. Well,
wow, that up throw killed that percent. Out. That's crazy.
That checks out. It'll be Dorian burnout will chill for a moment. Musty just gonna walk forward with these nairs. And Poro off platform, kind of caught here. It's hard for Shiro to really do anything to help, just so high percentage. Just gonna try to let their teammate figure it out for themselves. But it's been tricky for Poro so far off stage. Almost back. I wouldn't quite call him at a disadvantage yet.
Wow,
and that's Shiro gonna go down as well. That is tough.
Yeah, really good kill confirm from Musty Nobody. They actually managed to make it pretty much all the way back. But the stock is answered on the other side in part. Black Adam in burnout. They can't really catch him. Does a really good job living this through this burnout. Wow, what a good parry on Poro's side. But the bite on Shaggy could be everything. Oh no, but now you're in an edge guarding situation as Jake against Wonder Woman. Shaggy getting down aired over and over again. Gets the bite into the wall. Dorian follows it up with the down air. Oh my gosh, the Nair 2 is everything. Gets the tipper stare. He's off stage going for bite plays against Shiro. I think that was a massive overstep.
You only do that one time.
Yeah, you only do that one time in a set, but if you get caught out by that in a set, it's like... I mean, they're going to look at that game and go, we could have won that. That was so possible. They had such a good start. They maintained that momentum. They really had it at the end. They had them both off stage, but they kind of just got reversal there. Shiro getting that double Sarah onto Musty.
Yeah, it's that scrap off stage with Shiro, not to mention Shiro able to catch the dare earlier on the Dorian because they were focusing so hard on Poro above him, which allowed Shiro to kind of come in and capitalize. Gotta be careful off stage against this team. You know, you make that mistake once. I say that because after the first time, you know better than to make it again. We'll see.
You get hit by one too many Wonder Woman stairs, and you're like, yeah, I can't contest this character. And then you just focus up your gameplay for the next one. It's just unfortunate that it happens. Dude, the Musty Nobody up special setup.
And he's dead again.
Down air. I mean, he tried going for an up special into Sarah downwards cheese, but it sure managed to dodge it, right? But now you have another edge guarding situation. I think if you're the red team here, you really need to be landing these early kills with these offstage setups, especially against a team like Shaggy Wonder Woman. Oh my gosh, Shiro doing so much off stage. It really just feels like they can never really get a grip on where he is. Never get that momentum from him.
Oh my Shiro. Only thing on the menu right now is dares. Just getting fed them, it feels like. They are going to trade these two back, though. I was also going to mention this, the fact that red team, they look like they have such a good like ledge guard setup that they don't really need to chase off stage. And you see those two stocks come off of just that ledge guard.
Yeah, like their off-stage and ledger gameplay is just so strong. You can lose stocks so early against it.
Oof.
I mean, both teams kind of even percents, right? Like they are like, you know, blue team only needs one kill, but I mean, they're all at around even percentages. Definitely possible on either side. All right. Here we kind of, oh my gosh, the Black Adam clap kills so early. Musty barely misses a bite that might have secured that game. And Dorian just doing so well to kind of win these ones. Musty is in burnout though against Poro Shaggy off stage. This could be a game-ending moment, but nope. Musty manages to live that burnout. And I mean, Poro at 100%, and oh my gosh, Black Adam's already at 80 himself.
And this is a hard 1v1 too. Musty not allowed to come help his teammate. Finally gonna break free of the brick wall that was Shiro. Trying to keep him away here, but Dorian doesn't really want the smoke either, which is making this real awkward. It's gonna be damage off. Dorian thrown far. Musty in burnout here, having to try to fight Shiro still. This is gonna be so close. Both teams scrapping in the neutral. Not enough off the Nair. Poro gonna charge rage off it. Honestly, just got gifted one. Early Christmas present. Can he convert off of this rage special though?
Oh my
Doesn't
gosh,
even need to.
I mean, yeah, really well played from Shiro. Lets Poro threaten that grounded option and then just covers the air super well. Really, really well done from them. I mean, just a clean game from them, right? It was, again, one of those things where it's like, it's kind of scary, but at the end of the day, right, they just managed to clutch it out, and they managed to keep that consistency going. All right. Really, really good look for Shiro and Poro going into this game. Number 3, can they manage to get this set sweep here? Do Musty and Dorian manage to kind of clutch out one of these games that have been so close for them?
Now, are they out of steam? They've been so close to it. Looking good early, an early nair from Musty, just taking it straight to Poro, letting Dorian try to do the work in the back line. Nothing picked up just yet, and now that combo will start to convert. It's 2 1v1s for the red team, clearly feeling confident and looking pretty solid when it comes to percentages early.
All right. I mean, yeah, once again, they have a pretty good start here. It's just, can they manage to live these burnouts? Because it feels like every time they're in burnout, they just end up taking so much damage. But, I mean, they're still, like, positionally in a pretty bad spot a lot of the time. Right here, right? They're baiting out option, then just punishing them so well. Oh, but the reversal doesn't manage to kill him, but Black Adam not in the best spot. Manages to get a reversal of his own onto Shiro. Shaggy got their charge off stage, but the lightning grab is everything.
Option. Yeah, forcing the punch there to get the jump, which leaves Dorian just the lightning grab and convert that one instead. I'm telling you, their ledge guard is so good if they use it together. And starting to realize they don't really need to push for that extra space nearly as much. Lightning grab just to stall. That means they got a chance to combo onto Poro. They'll start to do just that. They're looking great early into game 3.
Yeah, the Sair into the jab from Musty into the down tilt to send them off stage was so smart. I've never seen a Jake really do that before. But it's so cool how, like, they're not getting greedy, right? They lost game 1 because they got a little greedy, but they're not letting these same mistakes happen. They're just doing really good positioning and then punishing, like, these Wonder Woman nairs, these Shaggy, like, Sairs, and just trying to get as much percent without being too risky as they can. And it's working out so well for them here.
Good work to deny Poro that rage without having to commit too much into it. That'll make things a little more comfortable. Poro most likely going to get it here. They'll give it to him and trade for a stock. They weren't quite able to find what they were looking for on a Shiro. Lightning grab on a both.
That's it?
That's enough to convert. It's just Shiro left standing.
Yeah, really, I mean, it's just such well played by them. When the bite doesn't save him, what? Okay, fun bug on this. If I'm Musty there, I'm a little annoyed. He got the bite that should have saved his teammate.
Still traded
Wasn't enough, though. But they're still in such a good spot, right?
Oh,
actually, I say that, yeah, but Dorian's at 75% already, but Musty managed to clean it up with an air. I mean, that was so good. They were in control that entire time. It got a little close at the end, right? But even like that second stock especially, where they were both kind of sitting at that right ledge, and just kind of getting as much as they could off was so good for both of them. They just played super well.
Another close game. Takes it to 2-1. Musty and Dorian slowly finding their footing. It felt so dominant through the early stages of that game. Looking for that same sort of momentum. They really just took it to him, took some 1v1s and converted nicely. It's the reflect to kill Rage early. It does manage to repot from Poro, so it's going to have that option early. We're doing a good job of kind of allowing that to just be pressure. This time they pop it early, and it starts that massive combo onto Dorian.
Oh my gosh, Dorian's at 90% already. He really only lost neutral once, but the damage and the advantage from Shiro and Poro were just so good. All right, and yeah, Poro managing to secure that first kill already, so good for them.
And Musty,
if I'm Black, if I'm Black Adam, I shouldn't be going. Sorry.
Oh, you're totally kidding. Oh, that bite is enough to convert. That's big from Musty. Poro at a 50% right here, so the red team slowly clawing back into this one. A couple more steps to get to even playing field, but not looking too rough.
Yeah, again, if I'm Dorian here, I think I need to slow it down a little bit, right? Like when they had, like they're doing it now, right? But when they had this great advantage, it was off the back of them playing slow and using these advantage positions off stage in order to really make a difference, as you see here. And they're right back in the game. I mean, that's a stock evened up, right? But they're going to have to probably kill Musty Nobody again in order to make this comeback, or they're going to have to focus up and kill the Black Adam 3 times. Both of which are pretty hard to do if Dorian just stays patient here and lives for a long time.
I love the way they slowed this game down. The red team really just chilling, forcing him to try to come get some work onto Dorian. And Poro exhausts the options, but is chilling nonetheless. Looking for that dare, and the up special combo didn't quite work out for them. And now things are looking rough if you're the red team. Dorian's starting to get put back into that combo loop again as well.
Yeah, Black Adam just takes so much damage from these team combos. But Poro on the other side has actually taken 70 damage already, and he's probably the one that's going to have to end up being the last one alive. 70% is probably a kill if you can get the right combo going for the red team, especially like any bite confirm. So they're in a pretty solid spot right now. Yeah, the kill onto Shiro sets them up really well here. But can they kill Poro? He's at 100%, gonna have that rage. Is it enough to really secure this game?
Poro sent far, able to dodge a clap. No options left, and it's the second punch, dodged early and caught out nonetheless. It's 70% left for Dorian. A stock taken in a 2-2 series.
That's a game number 5. I was talking earlier. I didn't think it was really going to be that possible, but Musty and Dorian doing so well here. I'd argue that they even looked better game 1. That could probably be a 3-1 already if they won that first game. Like, this is such a close series, and honestly, Musty and Dorian are kind of picking up the momentum. They had a bad start that game, and they still managed to make it look so competitive on their end. And then going into game 5, like Shiro and Poro really just need to look. If I'm them, I'm going after Dorian 3 times. It might be hard, but I think that Musty Nobody's doing such a good job in defensive gameplay, and I think Dorian's taking a lot of damage from their team combos. So I think if you just like focus up and go for Dorian pretty hard here, as they're kind of starting to do now, you can really make this series hard for Musty and Dorian.
Really bite onto Shiro, looking to turn that one around. Unfortunately, can't quite get connected with the teammate there, and now things looking dire off stage. Yeah. Instead, for Musty, does manage to get the bounce onto Poro, forces the shield option out here, but it is looking like a slight blue team advantage as red team starts to work some 1v1s.
Dorian actually managing to get a little bit of damage onto Poro there, and they get the early kill onto Shiro as Poro's charging. And wow, what a great parry from Musty. Oh my gosh, what an opening. They were kind of getting a little bit swept at the start, but it's really good gameplay from them. The dash attack with armor break actually enough to kind of stop these aggressive Shaggy plays and managing to last out that rage. They're in a really good spot in the opening of this game. They just need to kill Poro as fast as they can in order to confirm their advantage. All right. Black Adam looking for any kind of opening on them. Poro is in burnout, not going to be able to get anything. The Musty Nobody side air, almost enough to do it, but not enough. Wow.
Good lightning grab there.
The lightning grab into the tipper Sarah from Jake is actually enough to secure that stock. And again, Poro just, once again, asked to do so much in this game to kind of live through everything.
Yeah, Shiro gonna get caught by a punch there, trying to convert where they can, is gonna manage to pull one stock back. Dorian, gotta be careful to keep dodge meter up here. Shiro forced away by the bite, still managing to keep the stock up. The longer they can, the better potential they have at this one. It is down to just Poro now, that last stock to be converted for this team, but fortunately, percentage is very low.
Yeah, Poro's only at 4% right now. If I'm red team, I now don't really have a clear target. It's just whoever takes the most damage as fast as they can. And right now, Dorian is doing so well, getting these openings, and the upper end of Sarah is enough to do it. Wow, what a great... I mean, that was all off of a Dorian parry, right? The up tilt into the up air into the Sarah, just trading back and forth. So good from that team. I mean, that's an upset of all time. And to be honest, I think that Musty and Dorian looked like the better team. Like that wasn't like a random, you know, upset that like, oh, they got lucky a few times. That was we played consistently very well throughout that entire set, and they just looked like a really solid team there. And they're going to be moving into loser semis, a Jake Black Adam team and loser semis of Frostiverses. That is so crazy. That's so sick to see.
It's sick work for these guys. Musty personally has never seen top 8 in duos, is finished at 9th, right outside the door. Dorian, best placement is 13th. This team decided, let's finally come together. And not only have they pushed top 8, but they're looking to push even further, a chance to possibly get themselves up into uppers yet again. Huge from this team, came back with a vengeance. The first appearance we see for them in top 8 goes so much further. You love to see it. And on the other end of things, players that we've seen in top 8 and we've seen deep bracket runs from, it's Meg. Oh my God, I can never say his name. I'm not even going to try. I'm sorry. It's Big Johnson's teammate. And Aries and Moises. 4 players that we know, we love, vowing for a shot at the newcomers if they can take that series.
Yeah. We get to see Raven again, which I'm super. I love watching Raven in tournament. I think this character has so much potential, and I love to see that already we're seeing deep bracket runs from Raven players. And then also we have another Jake player, right? 2 Jakes potentially in top 4, which is unbelievable. Going into this tournament, I was not expecting to see Jakes make these deep bracket runs. And on the other end, we have Stripe and Garnet, 2 characters that have always been kind of like adjacent to getting top results, right? But have never really made that push into like these deep, like, you know, number 1s, these number 2s. So it's I'm just like, this is going to be a matchup of all time from these players, and it's super cool looking into this match and seeing, like, you know, which team comes out on top. All right.
Without a doubt, the interesting match. I do really wonder if we will see the Raven all the way through this set. Like, Lion, if it gets close, right? If it gets dicey, if Big Johnson and Auto start to work this one into their favor early, do you think we get switches back to more comfortable picks?
That's a really good question. I actually think that maybe if it goes to like a game 3 and they're on the back foot, right? If it goes to this game 5, I think Eris is probably going to stick on Raven.
Okay.
But Moises is like pretty known for like switching characters, right? In one tournaments, he goes off that Steven into that Shaggy pick.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like a Steven or a Shaggy, 2 characters that we just know are good in 2s, to kind of make their way back into this lower bracket here. But honestly, his Jake has looked really solid. I think even though Musty Nobody is kind of the one known for Jake, I think a lot of what we've seen Moises do has been really solid on the Jake. I think that the follow-ups from Dorian and Musty are a little bit better, but I think the offstage play from Moises, we see these reverse Sairs into the wall that combo into these Sair 2s that send people flying. Like, all this stuff is so like creative and unique, and we haven't really seen a lot of Jakes go for it. So I'm like I think his Jake is definitely solid enough to kind of make this win happen.
Well, you like it? We'll have to see. We'll jump into this one. Winner plays Musty and Dorian for a chance at the lower finals. That'll be one heck of a matchup, but a couple before we get there, especially this first set. Lowers quarters on the way.
All right. We are almost in the game, and right now we see both teams actually are running that armor perk for that 15 gray health. The further we go into the tournament, the more teams we see rocking it. It's so good, and it's nice to kind of see that, like, instead of like Snowball or Ignite being the go-to pick, we actually have like these new perks that really weren't really seen before getting some value and some use. But as we go into neutral, it's really, I think it's all going to be, whenever I see Big Johnson and Malignant Auto play, in my mind, it's kind of around how much Malignant Auto dies. As massive as that sounds, whenever they win, it feels like Malignant is able to hold on to his stock for a long amount of time. But whenever they're losing, I feel like Malignant Auto's just stock like bleeds a lot of the time. Right here, like, we see Malignant Auto not really taking any damage.
Bite.
But oh my gosh, the bite into this air too. Big Johnson SDs. Wow, the double bite from Moises is doing everything here. Oh my gosh, this. What a colossal switch of momentum for them. And then Malignant Auto gets a combo into it, trying to set up for the spike for Big Johnson. Big Johnson falling up off the first, but unable to follow up off the second kill potential. All right.
There it comes in. Stock to be taken out.
Yeah, Moises trading out that stock, but I mean, for such a dominant start, this is surprisingly close. We see Moises has to be the one to live here. Eris actually doesn't have hood form yet. What happened to Moises?
Well,
what is this game?
You know, sometimes it's just a go next angle, Lion. That's all you can really say about it. Next game, let's just keep it going.
What?
Whoa, are they gonna switch?
Maybe we might actually see that switch from Moises come out. But what a weird game. Like, I don't know. It's just both. Yeah, we see that Steven switch come in.
Yeah, forget that.
Yeah, lost one match, instant switch off Jake. All right. But I mean, what a weird first game. It felt like both teams kind of made really big mistakes. We saw multiple SDs. Or what was it? Johnson and Moises both SD'd that match. Moises got a giant double bite, and then like Johnson and Otto had a great start. So we're gonna see like what of that gets replicated going on in this set and which of it doesn't.
Yeah, like I almost wouldn't even analyze that one. You know, here's the real
Yeah.
matchup. This is the real game one. It's just for some reason the red team got a 1-game advantage in this set. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
kinda weird.
if I blew up like that first game didn't happen. It just wasn't real. But already we see like red team able to kind of maintain a lot of that momentum that we kind of saw. I'm interested to see like how Eris's Raven play changes, because right now we see they're going for these bursts that we see for Steven whenever Steven's getting comboed, but it isn't really getting them too much value. Malignant Otto's advantage is just so strong, where he's getting so much value. He's able to save his teammate, and he's kind of living, which is what I like to see from a Stripe player, where they're just able to do like able to kind of take over the match.
Well, it's just, Stripe is so slippery, but if you can actually connect, it's pretty easy to get them good. It just kind of is like this dual-edged sword where low weight combined with high movement speed makes it kind of difficult to find regardless. Sarah looking a lot better. Kill confirm looking better early on. Sarah almost caught
Oh my gosh.
Auto early, didn't quite do so. That's a big trade that's going to come out though. High percentage nonetheless, but again, it's this Stripe that's hyper mobile, very hard to find, and just kind of chilling in neutral right now. Can't quite convert on it.
And the longer the Stripe lives, the more damage, because if you have if you have a lot of charges on gun, you end up just doing so much damage, right? So it can be so dangerous to let a Stripe live for so long, because you kill them after they do like 4 rounds of gunshots, which does like around 50 damage. They respawn, have another 12. You can lose the lead or like you can get in a bad spot really fast. But the Moise's loops are so strong. Big Johnson already at 80% on this stock. Malignant Auto though in burnout, in disadvantage. But manages to kind of make it back there.
Accidentally picked up Raven there. Just getting kind of comboed into it. That doesn't kill. Moise is still alive at 150. Aries just getting stuck in this difficult 1v2. Somehow still alive off stage. Still existing. Tech stage still live. Finally. Finally, that stock's gone.
Yeah, Eris is in burnout. Wasn't much they could do about that. Melina was just so patient to just wait out for them to try and recover high and then just punish them with the gunshot. And Big Johnson secures the kill on the other end. And they're up 2-0 against Aries and Moises. I mean, it's pretty dominant, all things considered. They were kind of in control of that entire match. And honestly, they looked pretty good the entire time. Malignant Auto just playing so well. I think he's really, like, big shout outs to him. Big Johnson getting a lot of these confirms, got a dare confirm and an up special confirm off of Malignant stuff. So, like, good follow-ups from him, right? But it cannot be overstated just how important it is to have your Stripe player be able to live for a long time. The difference in all these games is if Malignant lives like over a minute and a half, it just feels impossible to catch up on the other team.
Well, yeah, lives to 150 stock 1. Is doing a good job of consistently just working in jab combo, getting so much percentage acquired for the team. Also, stun locking players for a bit to give time for Johnson to come in. And really big fan of that first stock taken from the Garnet. Just caught gauntlets out. Moise is so low towards the blast zone, able to recognize it quickly. Was in a fight with Aries off ledge and still just turned around 180'd it. Dropped it out real quick. I was able to catch the recovery in a moment where Moises would obviously expect him to be distracted. So looked really nice. They play the first 2 games solid. You know, the first 1 game, if you will. I don't know if game 1 counts for anything. But the second game looked very good. Obviously back to lobby again. Is this an Aries switch?
I'm not really sure. I think I don't really. Okay, here's my big take. I don't really think that swapping is going to fix a lot of their problems. I think the Raven Jake could have worked, and I think the Raven Steven especially could have worked, right? Where I think a lot of it was just they got team comboed a lot. When you're fighting a Garnet and a Stripe, you can't really let them get too big of a jump on you at the start, because making that comeback is so difficult. You really need to be finding the openings early, and especially making it so that Malina can't live as long as he was, because he was there around for 2 minutes. 2 minutes on his first stock. You're getting a gun cooldown like so often, and if Stripe has a gun cooldown, it's just so difficult. You can use it to secure kills, get like that 12% combo with it, do everything. So you really need to be making sure that they die fast. But I don't really know what's going on. I don't really know if they're going to character swap, or I don't know if they're just gonna run it back.
And they were pausing for something unrelated, so we'll chill for a moment. Yeah, don't want to call out the swap real quick, just in case it's not the swap, because that would be kind of silly. So we'll chill for a moment. Anything else catching you early in this set, though, in terms of differences, or actually, let's look at the other side because we talk about changes. Let's talk about what Otto and Johnson are doing well.
Yeah, so especially at the start, right? They're having such good like team synergy in the way that they combo and the way that they play off each other. We saw there that like Puzzler that Malignant and Johnson were both just kind of securing kills off each other. Like whenever Stripe sends them high, Big Johnson is there to kind of get these follow-ups, right? We saw game 2 him get a combo kill with a grounded up special off of what Malignant was doing. So we were really seeing like a lot of good like team synergistic plays between them that aren't really being replicated on the other side. Ares and Moises kind of just feel like they're both like playing twos, but they're not really playing as a cohesive unit. But on the other side, you really see that like that, that overwhelm that comp is so good at in those combo plays that really they're so adept at kind of taking over.
And there's the no funny business. So they actually are going to go ahead and swap. Stall for a bit of time, but there is going to be that swap as well. So Ares going to go to the Wonder Woman. Work that back into this matchup. I think Wonder Woman Garnet is a great matchup for the Wonder Woman. But we got to see, it's 3 different comps for 3 different games. How quickly are you able to adapt as a player to your own switches?
Yeah, exactly. I think it is really different, but we've seen throughout all of Multiverses that double shield has been just so dominant. And even here, like, Ares is already doing a really good job of kind of 1v1ing against Malignant in ways that maybe were hard to his Raven, right? Where, like, they're kind of just had an advantage already, especially with the Steven fastfall changes. Things like Steven Nair got even better after the last patch, which is crazy to say because his Nair was already so good. But right now, like, it's actually a torpedo falling on you. But Big Johnson and Malignant Otto actually doing a pretty good job to even things up after a pretty rough first half. This percents are around even on both teams, and no one's really getting these openings. Oh wow, what a carry on the side of Johnson, but the actual the Sawbuzz from Stripe actually makes him unable to get the kill and then gets traded out. That's so tragic.
They both 1v1s. First shield drop for Wonder Woman to try to give them a little extra time here on the work back in. It honestly kind of works out nicely of getting that shield from the Wonder Woman on top of what is this gray health perk, because they kind of just walked back and they killed the gray health. So now you see them actually start to gain the advantage where Johnson finally going to take that stock, but he lost so much percent in the process. It's 80% gone.
Yeah.
And now they've got to deal with gray health.
Yeah, as long as Malignant just doesn't like run in and take like 90 damage, they're still in a good spot here, right? Because Johnson can die, right? And they're still going to have a stock to play with. Meanwhile, both players on blue don't really want to take too much damage here because both of them kind of want to live.
Good gauntlet.
Yeah, but we already see here, Ares just kind of pressing the advantage so hard. Malignant Otto already at 60%, as he's the one that kind of needs to live here. All right. But Ares just doing so well in the 1v1s. Just kind of making so much space for Moises to just kind of play back and be safe.
All right. Well, Sayer still haven't been able to work back to neutral. Finally, Johnson going to find a jab combo to put them back into somewhat favorable of a position. And it's broken up by Moises. You start to lock into that jab combo. Can't get out of it. It's not cancelable. So Moises is able just to walk forward and send him up. Very nice stuff there from the blue team to recognize and capitalize.
That down special into up air is just such a strong confirm on Steven. But honestly, Moises at 90% right now. This is definitely doable for the side of red team. Like it could honestly go either way. It's just how long can Otto live and how much can Moises and Ares use these armors to stall.
Yeah, you need that hold for shield here if you're Ares and not quite going to get it. So really relying on Moises to stay alive here.
Wow,
Auto set low, but Johnson will come forth and take that one. It's so many comp swaps. Nothing works out for them. It's a 3-0 for Johnson and Otto.
That was really well played from Malignant Otto. He manages to like live that game for so long, just managing to like hold that stock, be like, yeah, like you can kill Big Johnson twice, but you're gonna have to kill him a third time or you're gonna have to run me down. And then he just kind of plays behind Big Johnson and then pulls out dynamite and then just dynamites whenever anyone approaches him. It can be so difficult if the Stripe player just plays like a little bit further back to be able to get these openings on him that maybe other characters can't really deal with.
You can kill Johnson, but you can't kill me. Great work coming through. And that leaves the newcomers back into the stream. It's Musty and Dorian for lower semis. A chance to fight Mott's and Brian Yee. For either of these teams, depending on who takes it. This should be a very close set, I would argue. I think Otto and Johnson, a little bit misleading here, the fact that they do 3-0 that one. It comes down to, first game isn't real. The second game, more so real, but very difficult still. I think for Aries on the Raven, who just cannot get close to anything, because you see as soon as they swap the Wonder Woman, they got the chance to actually fight out of range. Things look a lot better for them. So I think that was a closer set if you watched it than if you just read it on the bracket. So still, that shouldn't be an indication of like, well, it was a 3-2, it was a 3-0. So obviously, Musty's getting rolled. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, Musty, Nobody, and Dorian, look, they're the 3-2 GOATs. If they make it to last game in a set, they're going to win it. And that's all I'm going to say. Like, don't let them get to game number 5. They will clutch up on you.
Don't let them see game number 5. That's a great way to put it. In terms of matchups, though, looking at Musty and Dorian, what are we thinking?
I think Jake and Black Adam as a team actually are pretty good into Garnet and Stripe, right? Like, against bigger bodies, I think is where Black Adam is really good. It's harder to dodge things like Chain Lightning, his follow-ups. It's easier to win neutral and kind of get these hit pause extensions that we see in twos a lot of the time on his aerials. And like on Black Adam, he has so much kill power that honestly, like he doesn't really struggle in the same way to kill some of these heavier characters as a lot of the other cast members do.
Sure. I mean, projectile option going to be good for them as well. We'll see. We'll start to work into it. I think it's going to be difficult for Stripe to get anything going off Buzzsaw. I also think that Dorian and Musty pretty adamant about playing under bubble as well, which is just going to make it that much more difficult for the Stripe to really get activated. So the choice is, do they rush down bubble? How do they deal with not being able to punch in Buzzsaw? That'll be the question. We'll see, though, as we jump into it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, starting in game number 1, we see what we kind of expect, right?
Yep.
Garnet setting up Sing, Black Adam kind of using this more defensive bubble, but Musty Nobody already in a bad spot manages to kind of get out of it, and now they've kind of done a little bit of a reversal.
Oh, that's gross.
Onto Otto, and then they get him killed. I mean, he was dead at 50 there. That's such a good start for that team.
But you gotta remember though, last time we saw them on stream, they had these early confirms, and then somehow, some way, it got close towards the end of every game. So another very early lead. That one's coming off the top. Double buy, looking for that clap, and this might not be the same case.
Oh my gosh, it's been 40 seconds.
It's over. It's all over within a minute. Lower semis game 1 is dusted. The blue team take it to them early.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. Like, okay, so the Jake Nair kills off the kills at 10%. You get a Jake Stair kill at 40, you get a Black Adam clap kill at 50, and then a kill off the top off of a ladder from like Black Adam Stair and a Jake up air at like 30 or at like 40 as well. Unbelievable. Like, that is crazy early kill percents across the board, leading to probably the fastest set of the tournament so far.
I really like this immediate early game adaptation you see. They pop bubble yet again. They know that they're going to rush it down. So Musty walks forward and punches instead to try to catch options early and start to immediately take neutral stage control. Rather than game 1 where you mentioned it looked dicey because they instantly got pushed back to the direction. So they control neutral right now already. They've already got them off stage yet again. Nothing off the punch just yet. Not able to convert. They got a very low Garnet in trouble. Does dodge the punch though, so Johnson will stay alive.
Yeah, all right. Like we've seen it time and time again where they're in this spot that they're in right now, where they're both just kind of waiting above ledge for them. Musty SDs again. They're up like a full stock. It's fine. I don't know what's going on, but doesn't really matter. They're still in a really good spot here, right? It's a lot less good than it was before, and now you already see Musty actually already at 70%. This team combo has been unreal on the side of Otto and Johnson. That SC might actually come into play here. But again, here you're just gonna want to see Dorian live for as long as possible. The saw actually saving, but the clap kill is enough. And now they're in a bad spot. I mean, you gotta get a lot of percent on both these players, and they only have to get percent on one of you.
Right.
Right.
You'll see them look to stall out here. They're going to play a little bit more segmented. The Black Adam trying to bring down into that upcharge for the Jake. Wasn't quite there. He rushed bubble, though. That might be a mistake. Otto going to go very low here. Still alive, though, at 130. And Johnson will start to put work into the Black Adam. Catches him on the recall, and that's going to turn the game back to the direction. They're both so low percentage, and Otto stuck on 130.
Yeah, that's the second time that we've seen a really early kill on Dorian against the side of Garnet. Big Johnson getting caught out 2 games in a row against them. All right, I mean, that's pretty confident, right? That's a confident 2-0 for them. Musty had an SD, and they still won in a pretty convincing fashion.
Oh, man, they're in the deep fryer right now.
Yeah.
They're absolutely in the deep fryer. Johnson and Otto, what can you find here in game 3? The first game, unbelievably confident for this blue side. Game 2, much closer. Much closer. Realistically, Johnson just gets caught by the clap, right? Pretty low percentage was that 50-60 that he dies. So that's a mistake you can kind of chalk up to being one. So that means game 2 was much closer, but still confidence, where is it at? Looking at game 3 now.
I think, honestly, that second game, like with that SD and with their incredible team combo on Musty, it was super winnable until Big Johnson got knocked out early. Yeah. Once that happened, the momentum was all in Dorian and Musty's favor, right?
Yeah.
All right. So going to game number 2, they just can't die early. They keep on bleeding stocks at low percents.
Slower they're playing this early game. Really waiting for that opening.
They're doing a really good job of like mixing up how they start games, but honestly these openings from Malignant Otto are just so good. Oftentimes he's getting like 60-70% in one interaction, but is it enough to really kind of make these back?
This is an awkward heavy fight.
Black Adam is alive?
Yeah, Dorian literally in the blast zone low, manages to live, and they've turned this back around again, looking for Otto too. Luckily, the Garnets respawned in time. Otto can't get the gunshots off because he's getting fought. Does manage to take Dorian, though, so he got something.
Great save on Dorian's side. Even though he was the higher percent, like, it's really good having Musty being the one to be alive at the end, right? Like, we've seen Musty. He's the better song take out of the 2, able to just kind of hold on that life for longer. So Dorian kind of taking some of these bullets and taking some of these hits for him is really good. He will end up dying to the strike gunshot without really getting too much out of it, but it's the thought that counts.
Otto high percent there is going to explode.
Oh, that's
Dorian not able to dodge it either. Chance to find the tether here, not quite able to do so. This is looking really good for Red Team right now, especially if Otto continues to live. Of course, that's right when he would die, though. So kind of back the other direction. Dorian high percentage as well. Yeah.
Again, it's all about how long can Musty live. Can Musty live, or does Otto outlive him, you know? That's really what it comes down to. Johnson, he's going to end up taking probably a lot of damage, just kind of by the fact that he's playing Garnet. And oh my gosh, Musty, nobody almost gets a crazy early kill onto Otto, but doesn't end up managing to do it.
How is he alive, bro?
Yeah, 170 kill percent. Finally. Okay, there we are. And Jake at 108%. They really need to get some early kills here. And I mean, this is the perfect spot to do it. Off stage, they're both they're in such a dangerous spot. They really need to set up into these post edge guarding positions. Otto at 80% already. Musty nobody at 120 himself.
Oh, he's looking around here.
Yeah, they could honestly pivot into either kill here. Otto going off stage gets tipper dared, but it sends him on stage instead of off stage.
Yeah, that was huge. The fact that they let Otto back on stage for free really shifts that one back to the direction. It's scrappy, it's tough, but Big Johnson and Otto managed to find themselves a game here. They're still alive.
Yeah, the hit pause extension from that Sair, Musty tried punishing Garnet for hitting Black Adam, but the Sair was so active that it actually got him killed instead. But yeah, I mean, it was a good attempt for Musty to really play his life as long as he could, but you kind of have to go for something in that percent. Malignant Otto's on stage, and you either have to kill the Garnet or get past the Garnet and kill Malignant Otto there. So they were trying to make a play happen, and it just didn't end up working out. But as we go into game number 4, I mean, it's anyone's game. There's so much adaptation on both sides. Again, we see Musty mixing up his start again. He actually uses the house to reflect the Garnet Gauntlet at the start and hit it back into Johnson. But again, Malignant Otto getting a really good opening combo onto Musty.
This is the first time I think the red team has really looked ahead at the start of a game. As I say that though, Otto struggling against the Jake down low, does manage to find it though, confident, and then the gunshots to finish it off. So that is going to be a red team with a lead here to start.
Yeah, and that lead is only going to get extended. Dorian is already at 120%. Big Johnson only at 60 himself.
Oh, big if you can find gunshots here. Doesn't pull it out, but nonetheless, the red team in neutral looking confident. Big Johnson going to throw one off. It's Otto trying to get the chainsaw onto Musty, couldn't quite convert.
Yeah, the Sereners from last patch on Black Adam are really coming into play here. That Stripe, or I think it was either the Stripe or the Garnet, one of them lived a Sare that probably would have ended up killing last patch, but that lower reduction in kill power is so important. Because it means that things like these juggles that they're trying to go for just don't kill as early as it used to. All right.
Dorian stuck in burnout, does manage to just confidently walk forward and dash attack. Helps as his teammate has that one locked in. It's 160 for Johnson, not caught by Dorian though, so he is going to stay alive. He needs every bit of this stock that he can find and doing a good job of keeping it active.
Yeah, Big Johnson alive at 170 in burnout. You really need to be getting these kills early. But reads the jump, goes for that up special and kills Musty at around 100%. I mean, they're in such a bad spot here, blue team, and they really need to kill Johnson in order for this to even be close. But it kind of looks like their control of the match is slipping. They just can't pin down Johnson.
And Johnson's doing a good job of using this jab combo to push backwards towards his teammate, so Otto's able to convert chainsaw and get extra percentage up. They look really good right now. It's a hard one to lose. Both players high in a bite to finish it off the top. It's 2-2. Johnson and Otto have figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, really well played by them. That was a pretty confident game number 4 after honestly a super close set so far. That's been like the first, or the second, I guess, really convincing game, right? Like you had that 40-second game from earlier, and then this game where we're both just not very close, but the other two have been so scrappy. So it's another game number 5 on the docket, and I trust Musty and Dorian in the game number 5, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, every set it feels like for them has gone to 3 or it's gone to 5, and they have not lost it. They're so good in the clutch. Can they get it done again?
Yeah, already a slower start, but that Dynamite getting so much value, right? Every time it feels like they just don't really end up playing around Dynamite as much as they probably should. And like, again, we see it there where they're taking so much damage off of it. Black Adam already at 70, 80, 90% this early in the game, and they just can't really deal with Big Johnson and Otto playing a little bit more passive than they're used to. I mean, blue team trying to get anything going, and they just can't. Yeah,
that's tough. That was a really good ledge guard setup for them as well. They just couldn't quite convert. I mean, it's really coming down to these projectiles. Otto's been doing a good job of using Buzzsaw to get back. Gauntlet from Johnson to get back. They're really disrupting what is this very powerful ledge guard, as we've seen from them. They're going to take 2 stocks early, and they're pretty low percentage themselves. The Garnet can live for a bit, is going to chalk up to 100 here. We know Otto has pushed 130, 150 in this series already. They've got room to work with still.
Yeah. And I mean, Big Johnson's just playing so well. Living to 170 last game, got the second kill this game with a cross-stage gauntlet like we see now. Just playing so well this game in this set so far to make this as close as it is.
They're still alive.
Yeah,
Both
they just can't.
Still alive. They've pushed these guys so deep off of ledge too. You can see how nervous this blue team is. They finally bait one in, they get one, but it's now Big Johnson back with Gray Health and a whole lot of confidence.
Yeah, it's just such a bad spot to be in. They just cannot get these kills. Malignant is alive at 170.
Oh, man.
And Musty Nobody is dead again at 100. Like, you can't be playing in these super passive spots and just letting your opponents kind of dictate the pace of the game as they're doing now. You have to be able to get these aggressive positions. Because that's when, like, when Musty and Dorian are doing well, it's because they have these edge guard scenarios where they're pressuring their opponents. But it's just not happening in the last 2 games. Million Otto is at 214%, finally ends up dying to a Black Adam clap, and they need these early kills.
Ooh, Dorian's so high percentage here, taking trades, which you cannot do at this percentage. At 150, he's gonna float for a bit. That leaves Musty into trouble though. It's a 2v1, trying to get figured out for the Jake. Does manage to convert on the upcharge. Gonna send Malignant over. They've got the clap. If they can follow this, they can do it. It's so tight, but it's a trade coming through for Big Johnson to save the day. They'll walk it all the way back, and they've got themselves an appearance in the lower final.
Yeah, that was that ended up being really tense, right? You saw the possibility, you saw the world in which they managed to get that ladder and make it and clutch out that game number 5. But Big Johnson just getting out of it confidently, up especially, and taking that game number 5. I mean, that was a super close set. That was a back and forth set with moments of extreme dominance for both teams. That was super, super amazing to watch on both sides.
Yeah, and shout outs, man, to Musty and Dorian. Their run will end here, but it's the farthest run they've seen so far. And Frost, the farthest run for them too. And it looks like any duos tournament. So fantastic stuff from this team. Cannot wait to see them in the next weeklies to come. Not their day to make a grand finals appearance, but such a far run. So many upsets for the squad too, which is great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely causing chaos at every stage in the bracket, right? They beat they've made such a crazy run. They beat some really, really good teams in their run. Taking down Uzi, Greeted, Shiro, and Poro, and then taking Malignant Otto and Big Johnson to a game number 5. But Big Johnson and Malignant Otto managed to make it to losers finals where they're going to be fighting Mots and Brian Yee. This should be a good set, right? Like earlier we saw, earlier in winter semis, right, they got 3-0'd by Mots and Brian Yee. But they've had a little bit of time to cook, right? They beat Ares and Moises, and they just beat Musty and Nobody and Dorian, right? They've had a lot of time to kind of just like focus in as a team.
Sure.
We saw Malignant Otto and Big Johnson both living to absurd percents that they weren't really living to in their upper set.
Right.
So hopefully we're going to see that kind of translate over to this set, and we're going to have another close set from both teams.
I'm trying to think about that set in my mind. We've seen so many other sets. I'm trying to like reimagine it. Why was that set so dominant?
It was honestly just Briny and Mots just killing them on cooldown. Malignant Otto, I think, died twice, like a minute and a half in, like 2 different games in a row. But honestly, it's really just gonna come down to how long they can all live, right?
Sure.
For me, that's like the big deciding factor in this game, more than kind of a lot of other things. It's just how long each team can kind of take it as we go into this game number 1.
Our game 1 on the way. Mots and Brian Yee, when they get it going, man, they do not stop. Took it 3-0 last time this squad faced off against one another, but we'll see what the case ends up being here. Already in neutral, you see them trying to get together. Otto does a good job of kind of breaking that up early, but still, it's a lot of work to be done. A rage kick for Brian Yee, just throwing them out today. It feels like, and more often than not, they're converted.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, the Malignant Otto
one.
Oh my gosh,
straight into the up air. That's huge.
Yeah, he was at 40%, right? And they managed to take that stock so confidently. And I mean, here, Red Team has a great chance to kind of bring this back if they can land the follow-ups they need to. Good up special from Johnson. And potentially a reversal from Brian. Doesn't manage to get it. He should die here. He's at 100% in the blast zone and burnout, but he just lives somehow. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, Mots looking to ladder. He's got both of them connected. We know the kill power for both of these guys up high is so great. It's going to be a look early off of the Nair. Now they just got to find Otto sitting at 100% already.
Yeah, they're in such a dangerous spot. I mean, like, how do you make it back, man? You have to kill Brian probably twice, realistically, to win this game. And he's already at 160 this stock.
Sandwich barely catching ledge there. That was looking dangerous as well. It's hammer out yet again for Mots. He's going to grab one off of the package. Not quite enough to finish anything there. Brian, he's surprised he charged rage there. I could have popped out an up air. Ends up taking a stock away from himself instead. But instantly going to trade it back in the direction. All good, no worries. Mots and Brian Yee up 1.
Yeah, already a dominant game number 1 coming in for Mots and Brian, right? Like the extremely early kill on Malignant Otto at 40% from a burnout combo. Big Johnson dying super early just from the overwhelmed potential of a Harley Shaggy comp. And this is kind of giving flashbacks of their upper semi set.
Yeah.
And I hope they can really just turn it around. We do have a swap back to lobby, which is interesting. It could be something like a character swap, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna end up seeing what change is occurring, right? Are they switching perks? Do they want to switch characters? What kind of swap are they making?
I'm trying to think of what the swap even would be at this point in time.
All I'm saying is that Big Johnson has a Marvin that cooks, and you have an opportunity in this tournament to play it.
No, what a read!
Let's go!
What a read!
Let's go! Oh.
All
right.
How well seasoned is the Marvin though?
Look, all I'm saying is that one of the devs, Chavo, ran into Big Johnson, and Big Johnson dropped 300 damage on him with 3 kills and called him the GOAT. So all I'm going to say is that this could be an absolute masterclass of Marvin gameplay.
Well, you certainly would hope so. If you are a fan of the red team, they got to pull something out. You know, I asked why was the first set so dominant. Game 1 told me my answer. Certainly going to need to see something juicy from the Marvin. It'll handle projectile, but from there, man, it's going to be tricky, especially against like players that can move quick. I think it's hard for Marvin to get value.
Yeah, I guess it's a juggle comp and a rushdown comp. It can be so dangerous, right? But already we kind of see a lot more even on the 1v1s for both teams, right? Even though I think blue team is pretty firmly in the advantage. Okay, it's not that close. No, not another early kill. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. Oh, a potential reversal.
That's nice.
It doesn't manage to really get anything from it. I don't know. Wait, the combo from Big Johnson? Okay. Jab 2 into that button into a jab follow-up. I mean, it's nice. Like you can see like there's Marvin value being gained. But Marvin is a light character. Mots gets that follow-up. Wow, dude, he's so aware. Just the awareness from the blue team, right? Whenever they're so poised to really take advantage of each other's combos. Yeah, I mean, even though the swap happened, I mean, it still feels just as dominant. They haven't really taken a stock here. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, good up air, come there for Big Johnson. Just no one there to really capitalize on it. That's going to be another free rage charge for Brian Yee. He's been so good to convert. That one was looking to go cross stage, couldn't quite find it. It's Harley to float in the blast zone yet again while Brian Yee continues to bring down damage off of these jabs. It's double chainsaw. They're both so high percent. You can't let them back to stage here. Certainly not. But they're going to walk themselves right back onto stage, back into neutral again. That up air somehow doesn't kill from the Marvin. Mots does go down. Brian Yee looked to charge rage as bait. Whole fall 2. So they got something back in their favor.
Can I just say that the Marvin up special did not kill Shaggy at 170%?
Like, what is that?
Like, this poor character, man. This poor character. Anyways, it was technically closer than their game number 1. But once again, just absolute dominance from Brian Yee and Mots. And yeah, we see another return to lobby.
Just ridiculous, dude. Well, I mean, I'll give it to you, right? Like that jab combo in neutral looked pretty good from Big Johnson. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a good Marvin. I'm just saying Marvin might not have a good meta.
Marvin might have a good meta.
It might be the other way around.
Yeah, definitely. There's some bigger problem. Like you could see here the difference in kill power, the difference in pressure in neutral, right? His projectiles, just his setup tools, they're just not good enough to really get the neutral victories that you kind of want to see from a projectile character into like a comp like Harley and Shaggy. And yeah, we see Big Johnson putting the Marvin back away, taking back out the Garnet. He's like, yeah, it was a cool idea, but that's all it's going to end up being this tournament. All right, game number 3. Can they get these early advantages, right? Like here we're seeing it again, right? Where they just don't have like the same level of like start, you know, like that Shaggy Harley is able to have. But I mean, an early team combo could be everything.
It's really just the way these guys are so locked in with one another. Just this consistent nair into Brian. Brian will kick or knee one back. Like they're doing so good about getting big damage options and then just sending their opponent, they're juggling directly back into it. It's been so difficult, but it is going to be that first stock picked up. Auto will convert one, looking for another, and they get it. Picked up by
the gauntlet into the on cooldown side special was so smart from Big Johnson there to secure that kill. And for the first time in their entire set, and their entire winner set, we see Melina Auto and Big Johnson in a pretty comfortable lead. They're going for the ladders. Stripe misses the follow-up, but I mean, Garnet gets the double up special there, right? I mean, they're in such a good spot right now. Misses the down air on Melina Otto and he gets reversed. No, wait, that's how you lose it. Oh gosh. I mean, wow. Okay, but Big Johnson answering with a reversal of their own. I mean, Harley already at 110%, and Harley is tied for the lightest character in the game. I mean, you have such early kill percents, right?
And Brian still getting stack damage as well, already up to 90. It's looking very favorable if you are the red team. Both players getting caught here off of stage. The ledge guard not quite strong enough. They both make it back to neutral. Big Johnson gonna get caught by a hammer. Does manage to stay alive though, but both players off stage.
I mean, it's getting okay. There we are. Yeah, Big Johnson securing it with an up special. Or with an up air, did so well that game. Really well played by Melina Otto and Johnson. Honestly, they just started winning their 1v1s like a lot more. Like games 1 and 2, they were kind of getting tossed around a little bit in the 1v1s, but there you see them like able to kind of get some leads, some advantages. Melina Otto getting an early kill, and just being able to kind of secure these games that we want to see. All right, and going into game number 4 here on both teams, I think they're both kind of looking to, I mean, I think if you're Mots and Brian, you want to stop all their momentum. You can't let them get another game, or else things get really scary. Brian getting a charge off at the very start of the game, gets another charge hit. I mean, Big Johnson's already at 70% with Brian only being at 19 himself. Mots is at 90 though, and killing Harley 3 times is a definite win condition if you're a red team here. All right.
For that ledge guard, it is going to be a walk back to stage here for the red team. Otto going to start to put them both in the jab combo. Gunshots there as well on Mots to go high. Somehow, though, still kicking it.
I kind of wish that Melina Otto saved those gunshots more for the follow-ups, right? Using them to secure that 140 on Harley isn't that big of a deal since she's already at kill percent before it, right? But now you're missing out a lot of that follow-up potential. Gonna end up not mattering too much here, but they're in a pretty rough, they're not in the best spot going into this. All right, tries to get the kickflip on Harley, a little cheeky kickflip, isn't able to really get anything going. Brian at 90% here. If you're the right team, you really need to kill him soon, right? You can't let him live for too long, especially when Melina Otto has just died on his side.
Brian to work back towards stage, fight in neutral. Otto able to utilize his gray health to just really take it to them early. That puts him into Johnson as well. So great job of just daring them down and letting the tank put in work. Unfortunately, though, they do get sent right back off stage. Yeah,
and Brian just running away to the other side, getting another charge in this game. Like, he's gotten so many charges this entire set where it's just like, how do you deal with this? If the Shaggy's getting the 7th charge of the match and you can't stop him, and he's getting hits almost every other rage, it's like, what do you do? But already, I think he's getting a little bit greedy in these charges. He's taking 50% for going for a charge of this this stock already. And that's like, he is the lose con. If he dies, they lose, right? So you're really going to want to see on the side of blue team, Brian needs to be able to live in these neutral scenarios. But Big Johnson going for a jab mix-up, actually waiting for Brian to do a hasty dodge and get a follow-up on the down tilt. He's waiting at 112%. He needs to be able to live. I mean, gets the target on Shaggy, doesn't opt to go for the shots. How does he get anything going? Big Johnson actually getting a really early kill of his own. This could be everything. I mean, right now, Melina Otto just has to run from the Shaggy. They have to kill Mots here.
Oh, this neutral gonna be so interesting.
Oh, he's in
burnout. Really risking it all. Wow. Isn't able to convert.
My gosh.
And somehow, some way, we went from spiraling 2 games to a game 5.
Dude, okay, Melina Otto going all the way off stage at 130% in burnout to try and get an early kill on Mots, missing it. Both players of the other team miss their follow-ups, and then immediately after and then Big Johnson gets the follow-up. Is it crazy? Like, that is absurd levels of trust in your teammate and just like going for it. Like, that is unreal in a game number 4 in your tournament stock going for that. All right,
a high risk, high reward at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Managing to keep it cooking. They managed to make it here to game 5 of what was a 3-0 in the upper set. Can they convert it all the way to a shot yet again at the Grant?
Yeah. All right. I mean, here, like Brian Yee, once again, the lowest damage player in the lobby.
Dodge.
Not after the Shaggy sandwich, but Melina Otto really needs to be making this stock last as long as possible, but it's just not possible.
That's a really good combo from these guys on the ground. They're just so good at getting together. Like, they play so well just as teammates. That's going to be a trade of stocks.
The Garnet naring on top of Shaggy into the Shaggy beating it with his sidekick is so funny to me. Big Johnson needed to let it go a half second earlier, but he just wasn't able to. And the team combos for blue team are just so dangerous. They're getting so much damage with this snowball effect stack. And red team just isn't really able to deal with it in the way that they need to.
Oh, right. Mod struggling to make it back, is going to do so now. Brian just coming out of burnout, so going to have to take the first hit of that. But yet again, it's just Brian chilling, charging rage. He has so many rage charges in this series. Mod's going to pick up the up air. This is looking dire.
Yikes, it's over.
There is enough to do it. It's Mott and Brian Yee yet again to take it. It's 3-2, and they're moving up in the upper bracket.
Yeah. I mean, that was a 1.5-minute game, and it definitely felt like it. It was so fast-paced, right? I think Melina Otto and Johnson, right, over the last, like, 3 games, you really saw them, like, kind of hold their own in the ones really well, if not do better in the ones. But that game number 3 was kind of back to the previous set, back to games number 1 and 2, where they were just kind of losing neutral. And then instead of like focusing down on like pressuring Brian Yee, they were just kind of letting him get free charges and getting free pressure. It's kind of a baffling way to play, especially when the past 2 games they played against it so well. But I mean, sometimes the pressure just gets to you. And I felt like there it kind of got to them a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. You know, a hard-fought set, so much so that we see them sit in lobby, make decisions on what are they going to come out with. But, you know, it does start to convert. It looks a lot better. Maybe so. Just that Marvin coming out as like a, you know, it could always be worse. It's like the got to see the ball go through the hoop analogy, but in reverse. Like, sometimes you got to see the ball miss to know that it could be even worse if you played somebody else.
Just confidence try it for a game, and then you realize, yikes, wow,
this is even worse. Really maybe my character's good.
Yeah, and then they like go back to the Garnet, like starts picking up momentum. In the end, you know, Brian Yee and Mats are just gonna clutch it out, right? Like at the end of the day, they just played really stellar. Games 1, 2, and 5, they just looked like the more dominant team. They had better follow-ups, better neutral wins, you know. Better characters? No.
Well, you know.
But going into upper finals, into grand finals, sorry, we're going to see them reunite with their winners finals counterpart. Mats and Brian Yee are going to be fighting Falsey and Melly, a team who sent them to losers in 3-0 dominant fashion. But as we saw in that last set, just because you lost them 3-0 in uppers doesn't mean you're going to have the same when you fight them again, right?
True.
It's definitely possible to make a comeback, especially with the momentum of clutching up that game number 5 on the side of Mats and Brian Yee.
Yeah, the fact that the game does go to game number 5 could sway things back the other way. Not mention the fact that they're going to have to play into another Wonder Woman, which looked to be a bit of a struggle. So I'm nervous. I'm nervous for him, but I'm holding out fate. At least we'll get a closer series at the very least. You know, coming back from 3-0, it could simply just be the I understand it now. I know what I need to do. And we'll see if that ends up being the case. Grands is on its way. Falsey on the BG, Melly on the Wonder Woman still. And Mott and Brian Yee find a way to convert.
Interesting change from the upper final set. Brian Yee actually takes off armor dash attack, or like the armor breaks, or the dash breaks armor perk. In the upper finals, he was rocking it. Didn't really feel like he was getting a lot of value off of it, so he switches it for Wind Beneath Your Wings. To get that like extra jump and disadvantage, right? And we'll see if it comes into play here. Like, he already is gonna probably need to get use out of it. He's literally mashing there in disadvantage and getting stuffed out every single time for it. But if we just want to like go back to like that upper final match, like already we see kind of echoes of it here where Falsey's just at no %, and he's probably gonna be the one to live, right?
Huge reversal there for Falsey. And you call him out, and he starts to find value, able to dodge the rage kick and turn it right back into a dare. That's the first stock going their way, and pretty low percentages as well. Very favorable for the blue team early.
Yeah, definitely. Blue team off to a already immediate like good start, right? we saw Big Johnson and Molina Auto kind of unable to get these early kills, but Falsey and Melly have no such problems. Good trade on the kills for Melly and or on the sides of Falsey and Melly. But at the end of the day, blue team's going to come out on top of that because they are the ones who have a stock advantage.
There's just so much to work through here. It's that gray health straight into the shield pop. There's so much potential to just grab free percentage. And we saw that in the last bout with these players as well. Doing it just yet again. Do manage to trade one back. Melly high percent as well. But again, it's that gray health to come in. Falsey can turn around in front line. Just absolutely throwing Sayers out. Brian Yee kicking himself into trouble. And Falsey more than happy to convert that. Mott's going low, fighting really hard off stage.
So scrappy.
Something manages to make it back.
Yeah, it's so scrappy off stage. Neither team gets, I mean, honestly, blue team comes out way on top from that.
That's a massive shield pop from Melly. That's basically what the shields game mode is going to look like once it joins the game. Melly pops shield right there, dodges the kick, able to convert Brian very early. So he's back on what is his third stock now. And that leaves Motts with everything to do at 120.
Yeah. All right. Already, I mean, Falsey's just like going to be so hard to kill. And Mott's already at 130% right off stage in disadvantage in a very scary spot. Yep. And then Falsey's just going to end up picking the kill up anyways. And really well played from them.
Remnants of what was winners finals. Remnants indeed. Motts and Brian Yee not with the answer here. Starting out very early for Melly and Falsey. And it almost feels like you don't even really get an advantage for taking a stock early if you are this red team. They take a stock early. Oh, great. They came back now and they can do whatever they want. They're going to have a free armor charge. They're going to have 30 gray health between the both of them. So really got to look for different spacing options, I'd say, if you're this red team, taking stocks and getting away. We'll see.
Yeah, I also just think like there were some times where I'm just like how like checked in were they? Like Brian Yee in disadvantage was just like mashing there, and I know Brian Yee plays disadvantage better than that, right?
Sure.
So it's like after such a long tournament run, like how checked in can you like be? Like how locked in are you going to be here?
Right.
So
that's big.
Oh my gosh! Wow,
attack
what
from Melly directly into the Falsey Sair, and he gets a dare on the other side.
I mean,
nah, they're locked. They're fully dialed in. There's nothing you can do.
Falsey Melly masterclass. Falsey has played so well this entire tournament and every set we've watched, right? Like he's just locked in, doing so much every single game. Always the one who's alive. Always the one getting these follow-ups, getting these early kills. Melly doing such a good job to like set him up and keep him protected, right?
Falsey taking big damage there, down to 126 on the percentage. Still alive though. It's Brian Yee trying to dodge projectile. Kick is off for Melly. An opportunity here for this red team, but they're slowly getting comboed in neutral. Falsey and Melly slowly pushing up the line here. And it is going to be that nair from Motts to try to push it back the other direction. Brian Yee not really allowed to fight right now, just casually pushing him away over and over, shoving him off. Brian Yee off ledge, can't get the rage charge, can't find himself back in either. Motts is going to get reversed, and that's 140 for the Shaggy. Gaunt off the jab combo. It's an easy charge to finish. It's 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, like, I honestly, I want to see I might want to see a Mott switch back to Wonder Woman here. I think the Harley maybe isn't like Harley's a really late character, and against a comp like this, like Banana Guard Wonder Woman, where the kills come so early, and like things like Wonder Woman Nair do so many openings for the comp. I think that having that Wonder Woman Nair on your own side, yep, we're gonna see it here. I mean, like clockwork, you lose a game, switch to Wonder Woman. We're gonna see if this is kind of the adaptation that they needed, because I think it will end up working out for them, right? Like I think that this is gonna end up getting them closer to their goal than something like Harley and then Shaggy, because like when things are going well for that comp, it's so good, but when you're on the back foot, like you want something like that Wonder Woman shield to give you that extra edge.
We'll see what the case ends up being, because now you're looking at Melly, who's been so confident onto this Wonder Woman, and you're asking Motts, a player who in ones and twos is constantly on Wonder Woman, or on Harley, excuse me, to switch over and win the 1v1.
I mean, to be honest, Motts has also been a pretty consistent Wonder Woman player throughout the beta, or throughout the full release of the game, right? Like we've seen them play it with Uzi, we've seen them play it pretty much in the entirety of like post like first season 2 like Harley, right? when Harley got those initial nerfs. So Mats is honestly pretty good at it, but honestly, Melly is just probably the best Wonder Woman, in my opinion. Like, it's between like them and Shiro for me, where it's like Melly is just such a consistently good player. Like, Melly is always passing the eye test. Like, when you see like what does a Wonder Woman want to be doing, and then you look at Melly, you're like, that is like what Wonder Woman is and what Wonder Woman wants to be doing, right? So I have a lot of respect in Melly's Wonder Woman, and we kind of see it in these games, right? Where Melly usually always doing the right options, getting these neutral engagements that we've come to kind of expect from these Wonder Woman nairs, right? Being that front line for this banana guard, because Falsey is able to play like a way more passive style because of it, and they're in such a good advantage. Have both members off stage, summon burnout. It's so dangerous.
They're winning neutral by so much. The Falsey jab just looks a lot better than Brian coming behind the Wonder Woman front line. It's just so much stronger for the blue team. And this advantage is huge right now. About to push both red players over 100%. I mean, this is so difficult to walk back on. And you're seeing that from the red team. They're having to play so much slower. Mats is in burnout. Does manage to take one. Brian Yee going to go off stage here. Falsey looking for the share. Couldn't find it.
He's so greedy. Even in burnout, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. We're like a full stock up. I have the stock to play with. Like, I might as well try and go for these. He manages to get the up air.
Man.
Brian Yee on the tournament stock. Can he manage to live long enough for it? Yeah. And he's unable to. Falsey and Melly, what a dominant tournament run from them. I mean, every game was like pretty clean. They went 3-2 in Shiroporo, and other than that, did not drop a single game this tournament. Playing so well. I mean, and we saw it in those games, in winners finals, in grands. They just were dominant, and there's kind of no other way to put it.
Yeah, really, just looking dominant, and there certainly is no other way to put it. They take them 3-0 both times. The Wonder Woman does not give them any headache. And in a tournament where we see a much different top 8 than usual, we see more cast members into the top 8. It's clear that that old meta might still remain true to some degree.
Yeah, you still see your Wonder Womans, you still see your Shaggies, but the emergence of like Jake, Raven, like even like Black Adam other than PZ, Stripe, Garnet, like all these characters are kind of rising, and they're able to make incredibly deep tournament runs and take names off of other players. So it's super sick to see that like the meta is still developing and that nothing is truly figured out yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing truly figured out just yet. When it comes to Falsey and Melly, certainly figured out how to win tonight. Only dropped 2 matches throughout the entire bracket. Every other game for them was a 2 or 3-0, which is just phenomenal. Especially that winners finals and grands final game, both being 3-0, is phenomenal from this team. Really, the better team tonight here.
Yeah. They definitely just looked like the most solid team overall, just putting consistent value in everything that they did, and great follow-ups, great neutral, just everything you want in a team.
Yeah, without a doubt, exactly what you want in a team. And speaking of the production team, exactly what you want in a team as well from Frost Esports. Chat, show some love to Nick, please. The producer for tonight, show some love to Frost, to Tengoku as well. The TOs for doing a fantastic job. Maverick from Frost. Everybody putting these on for you every single week, 2 a week as well. Make sure you're signing up for Saturday's event, which will be, of course, the solos. Move the dates around. Show some love to Nick. It's hashtag Casters in chat if you want to check out Lion, check out myself. Lion with a watch party before the event tonight. So certainly some more of those to be found on your Twitch as well, I'd assume.
Yeah, definitely. And it was such a great end to our Frostiverse Duos number 16, sponsored by Trolley. Amazing that the work that they're doing to like support the scene, and thanks to our production staff and for making it such an amazing tournament. It was super sick to see.
Rivals 2, y'all. Rivals 2. It just started with Rivals events. First weekly was this week. So if you're a Rivals player, if you're a multiplayer, if you're a Rocket League player, make sure you show love to Frost and check it out. But that does do it for us tonight. Lion, a pleasure to get on the mic with you. Falsey, Melly, congratulations. Tune in to the next official broadcast next week. Saturday will be a watch party. That announcement will, of course, be in the Frost Discord. But for now, have a good night, y'all, and we'll see you in the next one.